Previously, in the Age of Ashes. These adventurers found their exit, guarded by the sisters of my coven. One wall of the room, the one far on the eastern side across from you, has an ornate archway of stones. The space underneath the archway is a featureless, blank stone face. The only completely flat and unornamented surface in all of Dreamgate that you've seen so far.
The other side of the gate out of here?
Perhaps it looked similar.
I'm about burying the lead. In the middle of the room, three massive figures.
Oh, jeez.
In pitched battle, they overcame my larger kin, but I escaped.
Wyvern poison, 5d6. Gonna go ahead and roll that by itself.
Nice.
23 from the poison.
So that is a 35, I believe.
Now that crits. So she's bleeding, on fire, and taking persistent good damage now. Plenum subsinctus! And the Night Hag just yells at Infernal, no! What? And they both just disappear.
Is it really a coven when there's only one of them left?
I guess not anymore, no.
I mean,
It's now just a hag.
Sure
It's just
there
an
was
oven
only-
now.
She has to go find
more.
her. She has to
there's
go
always
find
3.
new friends.
Haglor.
Gotcha.
Haglor, there are
No.
always 3. Which raises an interesting question to you, because there was a 4th in the entryway.
There
That's
was.
true.
That's right, I forgot about that.
Interesting in and of itself. But another thing that
She
we
got
need to be
replaced.
She drew
investigating
the short straw.
next
Now there's 4 of us. One of us has to be crucified.
Sorry, I don't make the hag rules, but as the coven leader, I will hag enforce them.
I think that's called haggling.
No wonder they're nicknamed Karens.
Now get up on the wall.
We haven't crucified anyone today.
We'll have to find out what literal 2-hour sprawling combat. So, as we had left off last week here, let me get this here. Sirenscape going. Because I've actually got, oh, that's turned up way too high. Turn that down, but also keep it going. We had made our way through the portal, Dreamgate, the second of the gateways in Alcetta's ring we've been able to open with the help of the Ekajai.
That was surprisingly loud.
Inside, we found an entire coven of hags who were less than receptive to our presence. And
Probably on account of the immediate violence we reacted to their
Yeah.
presence with.
yeah, I mean, they also reacted with immediate violence, to your credit. So it's like, it was a two-way street of immediate violence.
Okay, that's fair.
I mean, I did call her ma'am, and that didn't do anything.
Yeah,
so I
wrong
feel like
time of the month.
At that point,
I think they're full moon, do their rituals properly.
That's it, yeah.
So,
I felt
We had-
pretty haggard after the experience.
we had just
Which are you talking about?
defeated this coven here in the furthest chambers of this, well, wherever it was this portal took us to, this kind of interdimensional intermediary rift. We'd seen something similar back in Hunter's Gate, though it was much plainer, much simpler, and much more brief. And as the last of the hags, a night hag riding a flaming nightmare steed, simply left, realizing this was not a winning battle. And the strange bone skeleton scorpion bat thing man also just disappeared. The chamber fell back to the strange, magical, near silence.
I have a few questions about what just occurred.
Does this have anything to do with your propensity for trying to shake hands with a giant bone scorpion?
Well, I was trying to negotiate it with it, but everything I said just seemed to make it more angry.
Perhaps it's best not to talk to demons.
But if you don't talk to them, how do you make deals with them?
It's not a good idea to make deals with demons.
Not in the middle of a battle.
But I wonder where it went.
Do not
Probably to
know.
the same place that nightmare went and took away its hag rider.
But back to my original point. What are you? I mean, you look like a dwarf. You smell like a dwarf that's had a lot of alcohol. But you...
Or like a dwarf, you mean?
Yes, exactly.
Well, keep in mind, I'm still semi-passed out from the previous fight, so I just kind of lean up at you and just like... unless you bring me breakfast, I really am not feeling like in the answering type of... Talk to me, Axe, and I just put in front of me and go back to sleep.
Rosheen will go up and start poking the axe. Hey, we have questions.
Should we feed him?
I don't think the axe
The
actually
axe?
talks.
No,
Yeah, I
I'm not
don't-
talking about the axe. I'm talking about the dwarf.
I don't think we need to feed the dwarf, the axe either. I think it's got, I guess, plenty of blood over there.
And speaking of
It's a
that,
very messy eater.
what is
Yeah.
it with you and blood?
It's not my idea.
What do you mean it's not your idea?
It's Milani's curse. She's the bloody rose that grows out of the street, watered from the blood of tyrants. That's literally what her symbol is. This is entirely her fault. Please do not... You think I enjoy smelling of gore everywhere I go?
No, but I have found some very nice herbal perfumes that I think are going to go a long way toward dulling that.
I do not think you will understand what a curse is.
No, I do.
It
I
cannot,
mean, I'm willing to give it a try.
I have 4 brothers.
That is a good point.
Rosheen actually still looks really haggard. Like, she actually literally looks... She's kind of slumping and kind of, like, staggering a bit as she moves around. You know what, actually, Marshall? I think you have the right of it. And she'll just kind of sit down next to you and just kind of lean on your shoulder a little bit.
You guys are both resting on the corpse of this massive Jotunhag that
I mean,
killed in here.
we're both semi-bloody, I would say.
You know, it's a good
Buddy.
thing that hag bodies don't necessarily rot. I'm just assuming that, because the first one he came across wasn't really rotting at all, so I'm just going to kind of hope it works that way. At least for the current future. How are we going to get these bodies out of here?
How do you smell the difference?
Difference between a what? A rotting body and a not rotting body? It's
No,
very clear.
A rotting hag and a not-rotting hag. They
It's the same principle.
Really?
Yeah, they don't smell bad. I mean, do you see that girl in front? You could barely tell she was dead at all.
Yeah, there's something weird about that. I wonder if we can figure out what actually happened here.
Maybe. I mean, we'd have to look around a bit, but
Well, we did kill the people that have the answer, so...
Well, it's
Well,
possible they might have some personal effects.
Be. I mean, depending on what they did to get that bony creature demon here, if they died before they dismissed it, it could still be around.
Dried biscuit.
I mean, those things, I mean, they just teleported right out of here, so.
Well, keep in mind, he went invisible before. Maybe I can see him again. I'm going to cast See Invisibility and start looking around.
As you cast that and look around the room, other than the initial touch of magic, you don't see really anything that appears to have changed in here.
No, I'm gonna start going around, like the whole
Well, I
place.
wouldn't leave the room yet. We haven't actually explored all this. We should probably touch these guys up first.
But don't we want to go? What if I go back this way?
I feel-
We haven't been to the room in the bottom yet. It could be any sort of manner of trouble down there. Let's.
But
You don't. Okay, I guess I'll wait. But I'm really
Well, we
curious.
don't want to keep exploring if we're still injured.
how's everybody looking after that fight?
Well, I was down to 1 health, but now I'm not at 1 health. And you
I'm
guys are
actually
both
doing-
looking up and kind of.
Roshin's not bad, actually.
We're looking
She-
a little. I mean, we're a little rough, but I'm not as bad as the tree fight.
She took 1 hit in the shoulder, and that was it. Because for some reason, Buddy really had all their attention. So-
Really,
It's that's one good looks. You know?
I'm like, I'm guarding. I've got the spell up. I'm protected. And they're like, no, I'm just not going to hit you. Have fun with all that, nerd.
Stop tripping me, horse!
yeah.
I actually only took a couple of pokes. I don't look too bad.
I still have a little healing magic left if you need it.
Well, if we wait around here, I've actually got quite the blessing here. I could, if we stayed maybe 20 minutes or so, I could fix myself and one other up pretty good.
I might have. Milani still gives me some blessings. Perhaps I shouldn't be greedy with them.
I have a little bit if anyone's seriously hurt.
Krasach.
Oh,
Perk you right up.
I'll just go ahead and drink
that
my
puts some
last
power on me
3
chest.
minor elixirs.
That's
Okay.
9 and 24 is 33.
Uh,
that might just do it.
I have another
Yeah,
7.
I'm back at full.
Hey, there we go.
I have another 7 of the D6s, the lesser healing potions. I forget what they're called.
Tiny potion shots.
Tiny potion shots.
I'll take them, thank you.
Sure, you can have the rest of them.
This is the group of you.
I feel well rested.
They're a combination of some of Rosheen's magic, buddies, prayers, and
Just regular
this
medicine
huge
checks.
pile of tiny tinctures that Resme carries around now. Resting up in this main chamber, you do see a couple of things as you sit in here, because this is far from a completely barren room. Even disregarding the tiny colored points of light all throughout the ceilings and the top of the walls that are dimly illuminating the chamber. The south and the north walls of this exit. Is there an exit version of an atrium? Or an antechamber?
I guess you could go out of an atrium, so atrium.
Or wherever the door is. I don't know.
Atrium isn't an.
Antechamber is what I was thinking.
Oh, okay,
not
okay,
atrium. Post-it chamber. You would see the southern side, these 4 seats drawn up around a fairly decently sized, probably 5 foot around iron cauldron set in the middle of them, still filled with something. While the table against the northern wall of the chamber is spread with a variety of tomes and books that all appear pretty well ancient and esoteric.
Oh, I'm going there.
Why in the world would they have 4 chairs, I wonder?
If we're sitting, probably.
Oh, but there's only 3 of them.
4 if you count the dead
Well,
one.
only the hags, right? There's probably the chairs were here before the hags were, weren't they?
Right, but.
I'm just gonna wander
Oh,
to the
it's possible.
to
That's
the
possible, I
cauldron.
suppose. Has it got anything good in it, Marshall?
I take a good old whiff of it. What do I smell?
And in that cauldron there, as you smell down it doesn't actually have any real overwhelming odor of anything. It smells like very slightly almost of a sour tar, but the liquid appears to, at visual distinction anyway, look pretty thin. Though the broom is not exactly bright, so...
It kinda smells like some sour goop to me. I can't really tell you. I don't think I should taste it though.
Is probably for best. Let me taste it and see what it is.
Do you have a alchemy kit?
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Well, I have a full alchemy lab.
Oh, yeah. we have
Test
the
it,
portable
not
thing.
taste it.
Yes.
I was very confused for a second. So
I
you
was
want to do it
kinda
for
worried
yourself?
about that too, yeah.
And I'll just start pulling out things from my alchemy, from my bag of holding, setting out some mortars, alembics, like the whole, a full lab.
You're telling me
See,
you
look at that
carry
first man.
around that all the time?
You don't have to take up your
Yes.
entire living room with this stuff. He's got it right in that little bag right there.
Well, I have
Exactly.
mine in my bag too now.
The entire setup.
Of course.
Goodness gracious.
It's always good to have.
So,
Come in handy often, does it?
Yeah.
And on occasions like this, yes.
as he
That's a
starts
fair point.
as he starts working on that, trying to figure out what exactly is in this cauldron here, Resman on the northern side of the room could see that there is a pretty decent, again, spread of these strange tomes. And several of them actually share, in 1 second.
They share 1 second.
Things on this screen. Would share a similar emblem on the cover, which is, it almost looks like a skeletal hand, just printed straight on, surrounded by strange sigils. It doesn't look like magic writing or even language even that you recognize so much as glyphs. It may relate to something, but give me a knowledge religion.
That's going to be a 14.
With a 14, you actually would not. You would recognize that this seems almost like a Bible or a religious tome of some kind, but not to whom this skeletal hand could possibly relate. Pulling through further, many of the depictions of the skeletal hand on the covers of the books have the back of the bones of the palm on the back replaced with an opened eye, almost like a symbol of a rodent, but
Rosheen,
rounder.
can you come here for a sec?
I have to.
Please?
Well, it's not you'd make me walk up the hill again.
You sure do get grumpy after a fight.
Milani is constantly calling for blood, and when she gets a taste of it, she wants more. It doesn't matter if there's none left. It wears on me.
I'm not really sure what that means.
I'll explain it to you someday. What do we got?
You seem to know a lot about hags for some reason. Do
Yes.
you recognize this symbol?
Let's find out. So that's a religion of 25.
All right, I gotta pronounce this name. You would recognize the symbol as being of a lesser deity, woman named Mahathala.
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 Mahathala sounds right.
Do-do-do-do-do.
Mahathala. Mahathala.
No, get the name.
Streams are canceled. None of it.
It's
It's over. Say her name, Squid.
Say it 3 times, she'll right away appear.
Mahathala is one of the powers that went down eons ago to claim hell alongside Asmodeus. Though not technically a devil lord herself. The specifics of her worship you don't know really that much about, but you have a pile of tomes marked with her emblem that you are positive would tell you more were you particularly interested.
Deity of the lower planes went down along with Asmodeus, tried to claim the place. Likely, is she the one that's like not really that evil per se? She just lives down there.
Kinda, yeah. She is similar to Asmodeus in that she's lawful evil. Like, she is evil, but
She has rules.
the lawful side of her is much more predominant and
Okay.
much more direct. She's just not like puppy kickingly evil. She's not a demon lord.
Step 1: how to properly kick puppies. Now,
Would at least have, a
well, it's just it seems as though there's quite a bit of text here regarding this. I'm not sure if these hags were particularly adherents of the cult or if they were just looking for likely people to cut deals with who'd keep them.
Do the books look touched recently, or are they
Yeah, they
like-
actually look like they've been
they've been
fairly
used? Okay.
like they're well used. These are not like new condition ancient tomes
Well, I
here, but
didn't
they
know if
also
they were,
look
like,
like
dusty.
some of them are even open
Okay.
on the table. The hags were clearly, or if not the hags, whoever was here previously.
What's the book written in?
They would actually.
I'm sorry. Is the book written in Taldane? I'll start with that.
Do you only know one language?
I only know one language.
Oh baby.
She's
what
from the
kind of a
hinterlands.
Pathfinder character are you that only knows one language?
Someone from
American?
the hinterlands who doesn't ever got an education.
Yeah, American.
Murica.
I would say at least some of them, at least several, would be written largely in Taldane. Or some root of Taldane similar enough that you could glean a general understanding from it. They're not all like millennia old books here, and some of them are written in perfectly plain tongue that you can understand.
It's like Shakespearean English versus
Exactly, like
normal.
it's close enough that you can. It
Like
is
reading it gives
Taldane.
me a headache, but I
like,
can figure
you
it
gotta
out.
think about it. You need the cliff notes next to it to translate, but you can work your way through it. And again, other ones are perfectly plain. Some, however, would definitely be written in Infernal. Some even in a language that I'm almost positive that none of you, one in particular in a language that I'm sure none of you would speak, but that you would all recognize, just like we can all recognize Latin as Aslanti.
Do they have any sort of specific logical or chronological order that I can put them in to figure out which ones are older?
Other than just looking over the general state
Yeah.
of the books themselves.
Like, do they
Not
tell a
particularly.
story?
They're not telling a story. No,
Okay.
each of these tomes, at least almost all of them, just seem to be about. I forgot the name again. This name is so hard. I'm so.
Do we
bad
need
at
to
this.
sing the song
Do we
again?
need to sing the
Stop.
song again?
Mahathala. Don't do it. Mahathala. The various tenets of her history, her creed, and her worship. But it's not like a 10-part story of the journey of Mahathala. It's just a bunch of various texts about her ascension and her history and her worship now.
I'm never going to be able to take that name serious.
Nah, and it's ruined forever.
I'm
Mahathala's
sorry.
completely ruined.
I know you tried changing the emphasis on a different syllable, but it just doesn't help.
I hate you.
So, looking through it, sometimes in religious texts, there will be, I don't know, magical incantations or something of that nature kind of hidden within the story. If I read through it, can I pick up on anything that seems to have a different sort of rhythm or something that doesn't belong there?
Just read it out loud until you accidentally summon something.
Yeah, exactly.
Mahathala song starts playing.
So, looking through them, you have a lot of information, and again, 10 total books here, that none of which are particularly small tomes. They're not quick to skim, but as you are just kind of glazing through, the eldest of the one, clearly bound and cased in a completely different style and even different fashion than modern books and modern prints, written entirely in Aslanti. Thumbing through it, though, it is both heavily annotated in Infernal, written a very small, almost kind of chicken scratch hand that at first glance you don't even recognize it as Infernal. Doctor's signature is all over. It has a large amount of various diagrams and illustrations. And give me a knowledge. What's planes these days?
It's Arcana, isn't it?
I believe it's Arcana now. Yeah, I just got rolled into Arcana.
Sorry.
It's been like
Not nearly
a year.
sorry
and I
enough.
still don't know that off the top of my head.
Ooh, very nice. So that's going to be a... Geez, that's a 37?
The 37, actually, you'd be able to glean a lot of things, even if you can't read the text itself. Many of the illustrations are of psychopomps, which you certainly would remember from, well, right outside the Cinderclaw Fortress, the Marigna that had come for Esphus. And even if you hadn't really heard much of them prior, the psychopomps depicted here are much different. They don't look anything like human forms. They are skeletal, almost kind of similar to this bat scorpion thing that had appeared, but more bird-like. Many even with prominent beaks affixed to the front of their skulls, and some even without arms or legs, just wings. Many of these depictions indicates that a particularly powerful, a prominent psychopomp journeyed throughout not just the Inner Seas or even Galarian or even the planes, but throughout the vast cosmos of the material plane to planets on planets on planets. Many of these pages are filled with star charts and maps that you honestly don't even understand how to read very well, but it's clear that they're depicting different swaths of unknown regions of the Dark Tapestry. And finally, this psychopomp, this primary one, descended to what appears to be hell, alongside Asmodeus. You can understand enough of it to put together that Mahathala appears to have once been a particularly powerful psychopomp usher from the Boneyard, who,
Ascended?
if that's the word we want to use for it, for going to hell and becoming a god, descended, perhaps?
He rescinded.
But alongside that, many of the psychopomps in the depictions are warped and distorted in ways that almost appear to be strange, unthinkable mutations to the psychopomp form, where normally they are bird-like, skeletal. Some of them look almost like massive cockroaches or just monstrous, near-human figures in unsettling ways, almost frightening even to look at depictions, mutated and changed. But with that, throughout these star charts and these maps, and these infernal annotations, you locate not one, but 2 long-form rituals in this book. You know infernal, right? Mm-hmm. The infernal annotations indicate that somebody was trying very hard to learn the power contained in the ritual, but was having a lot of difficulty making such incredibly potent magic work. It also appears that this effort was attempting to bind a soul back into a night hag, pretty directly, clearly mentioning the dead one in the front area. This ritual is Resurrect.
It looks like they were trying to bring her back to life.
That wouldn't make any sense. There were 3 of them already.
It's also pretty clear that whoever had written all of this, whoever was working with the book, had clear intentions to replace the other night hag that had gotten away.
So it looks like there was some acrimony within the coven.
Fair enough, I suppose. They might not always get along. Just out of curiosity, is the hand that wrote this ritual out like this size hand or like Martial Giant size hand?
Well, from the writing, it's not super apparent because, you could still write tiny text with a giant hand, and there's only so much room in the margins of these pages to fit the text.
Right.
But it is very cramped and even almost illegible in places because it's so small and unsteady. Give me... I'll give you perception.
Sure.
I didn't give you your session rolls today.
I didn't know.
Ah.
My
Nobody
goodness.
Well, we haven't
Whenever
rolled
we
bad enough
complain,
yet.
you badish, so we didn't want to
Also,
get bullied.
We were busy singing.
Oh, my phone. I'm busy making stupid freaking songs. Take these session rolls.
Yeah.
I remembered because you rolled bad and it reminded me.
Aha.
that
See,
we have a solution to rolling bad.
we do.
sometimes.
But I'm not going to spend it on this.
What'd you get?
I got a 16.
The 16. Yeah, it's impossible to really tell.
Okay, that's fine.
But with your hag lore, you would know that literally any hag can take the form of a normal-sized human woman.
Oh,
Even the Annis hags.
fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. That's true. That's true. Otherwise, Annis Hag changelings would be very complicated.
Very difficult
Yeah.
to create.
They would just need to find particularly hardy dwarves.
Rosheen,
How you doing?
Rosheen, forgive me for being blunt, but how do you know so much about these creatures? I've never even seen one or barely even heard of them before today.
Oh, the hags. It runs in the family, I'm afraid.
Yes, you had said that before. I'm still not really sure what you meant.
Oh, well, you think these eyes just get born normally?
I wasn't going to pry.
I do believe that what you're doing is prying.
Yeah, I know. This is how girls do it, though. We pretend we're not prying when we're really prying.
I just kind of
Keep up.
motion to cheek. I'm like, just have a beer with me. Let
Yeah, aren't
let
you?
the
You're
girls
at the
talk.
other end of the room working on the cauldron
I can
here.
still
so,
hear.
like,
I can't
you
hear
literally
them.
Can't. There's
The sound
you're
dampening.
like 30, 40
Yeah.
feet away, and like there's you
We're-
two are the north end. You're in
we're
the
looking
south
at-
end. I don't know where
We're
you
looking
guys
at the
are.
goop in the cauldron, remember?
You three, I guess, are in the south end.
I
looking
forgot
at the
completely
cauldron.
about the
would-
sound dampening.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind another drink, but I really am very impressed with your ex. It
thank
seems
you.
to hold blood really well. It doesn't fall off at all. Doesn't that ever get a problem for cutting?
There's a reason why he's called Big Red. He just doesn't care. Shh, it's okay, baby, it's okay. Just let him be.
Oh, well, I've always thought my sword or my shield was a little bit on the sentient side, so I guess it's not out of the realm of possibility that your ex is too.
Ah, well, it takes a lot of practice, a lot of beer,
None
maybe
of
some
the,
more beer.
None of
and
those
more
came
practice.
up with my shield, actually. Okay, well, cool. Yeah, I ain't here to judge, sure.
Well, my mother. I'm a changeling. Was left in my father's settlement to be raised.
Oh,
Not my normal father, of course, but they were kind. They raised me, as it were.
I'm so sorry.
Well, it's nothing to be sensitive about. It's the way it is.
That's gotta be really difficult, though.
It was a bit, yes. But I was fortunate. Not all changelings I found are so as lucky as me to find people who actually raise them kindly. After all, the mark is well known amongst the Hidrons, where hags tend to predate, one might say.
So, one of your parents was...
My mother, yes. She dropped me off to be raised and intends to call me back to serve in her coven. I have no intention, of course.
She can't have you.
Exactly my point, Exceed, and so far she hasn't had much luck.
Well, we have to protect you then. She can't get you. That's no. We cannot have no. I'm not gonna lose one more person.
Well, I must say you're taking this contract you had me sign very seriously. It's rather heartening, I must say.
Let's see. Can we make do they make drops that make it go away?
It's not the color of the eye that determines whether she's going to come for me. She knows who I am. I'm her daughter.
Oh. Well,
It'd be the worst hag ever. Could you imagine? You put on a pair of smoky glasses and she'd be like, "Where'd my daughter go? I have no idea."
well, I don't know how it works. I've never met a
It's like playing peekaboo with the baby.
changeling.
I had daughters and now I have no idea what's happening. I'm losing my hag mind. I don't know.
I've never had this hag problem before.
My only weakness, object permanence.
So, how do we protect you?
The call was a mental one. It's sort of a nagging feeling right about here. It's been going on for about 6 years now. I've gotten very good at ignoring it. I must say it helps when Milani's pulling me in a different direction as well, even if it's not terribly a pleasant pull.
So, you're beholden to your, well, I guess nature is what you would call it, and you're also beholden to Milani?
Entirely, and they pull in very opposite directions.
Oh, that must be agony.
It is a bit, actually. It's very uncomfortable.
Arcadis, you're going to hell.
Hagging feeling.
Nagging feeling?
I'm joining you. That's...
We're smashing all these bottles.
So, do you think this lady Milani won't hide you?
Milani's my goddess. In a way, she is hiding me, I suppose, in that her pull counteracts my mother's, although it really just aggravates the situation. It's not a master and servant relationship like you get with most of the clergy. She just took me for her service. She needed a butcher, and she saw me as suitable, one might say. But it's just been a cycle of endless slaughter. She told me to reap a bloody tally of tyrants, and that was the last I ever heard from her. At least I have a boss who gives direct instructions. But hopefully I'll eventually reach some magic number, and perhaps my service will be over and I'll be able to live my life again.
So you have to kill a certain number of people before she'll leave you alone?
I must admit, a great deal of interpretation was left open, but I'm not entirely sure how exactly to interpret it in a different way. Certainly, tyrants don't immediately replace themselves, hence why I've become rather itinerant. Except for in Galt, where if they run out of tyrants, they just go and change the definition a bit until they have more tyrants, and then they kill those as well. It's a bit of a mess over there.
Well, you should stay here with us then.
Well, certainly, you need my services, and if these slavers are involved, there'll be plenty of them that we'll need to be getting rid of. I'm very good at it. I'm very practiced.
What do you think these beds are for?
What, in that room over there? Well,
Yeah.
the last bed apparently was supposed to imprison someone and then inject nightmares directly into their head, so I don't imagine this one's much better.
But I don't think that's the way it's supposed to be. This is the gate of Desna. You're supposed to have good dreams here. They must have done something to it.
Well, I heartily agree, but at the same time, it is what it is.
As you've still got this this book, I imagine that you were looking through as you started talking. Just kind of flipping to see if there's still looking to see if anything else of value really. As you turn one page too many, the weight of the book shifts in your hands a little bit, and out from the back of the book, just inside a back cover, is a flat, fairly red, almost like pinkish red marble stone disc that slides out and thuds onto the table. Carved with the inscription of a massive butterfly with incredibly detailed wings spread out to almost the full width of the disc itself.
Does it look like it would fit in that hole
Looks
I
like
found?
it's exactly the size of the hole that you found, yes.
I do so love it when investigation comes to fruition. This is going to be fun.
So that's why that book was so heavy. There's a blasted rock in it.
No, it's all the knowledge.
The knowledge is what makes it heavy.
Knowledge is always heavy.
So,
You're playing games with me.
Of course I am.
meanwhile, at the pot,
Admits it, I suppose.
why don't you give me a craft check, Jashik, trying to investigate this
I
here.
would be happy to give you a craft check.
Let's see what you got. As you immediately drop all of your tools on the ground.
So I
Into
think
the pot.
I think that
They all
this is
dissolve.
worth the session reroll because that's a 2.
See, you wasted your 20 before. I feel like that's
You
what
know what?
happened. I
I'm
felt
gonna
like
roll
it's
the one that hasn't rolled a 20 in the
Okay,
pre-rolls.
okay.
Do it.
Complain.
That was
That's not
Nice.
bad. So that's a 28.
So with a 28, as you get going through this here, apparently having an incredibly hard time. The difficulty is trying to hold on to your things and
Yeah.
get them to where they're supposed to be, not the floor around the pot. You get a couple of samples and start testing. And as you drop yet another of your small metal tools, droppers or different kind of small spoons to get things into testing vials and strips, and reach down, you see underneath the cauldron is a very similar small flat stone disc that appears to have just been forgotten, discarded, just underneath actually one of the chairs rather than the cauldron itself. This one, however, rather than being pinkish red, is a very light, pale, almost sky blue. And iconography splashes across it from one side to the other, depicting what appears to be a night sky with light tracings of some more well-known constellations. And a small, just direct symbol of Desna underneath it at the opposite side of the tiny plate. It also looks exactly the same size as the impression. There's 2 of them. But with your testing and sampling, as they're looking through this and finding rituals and discussing the nature of changelings, all you can really determine of what this is in the cauldron at the moment is, well, it's functionally nothing. It seems like they were early in a process of concocting something, but there's barely even anything in here but water at this point. This seems a very simple base. What is interesting to you, though, is that where you test these things seems to make a difference. Though the product itself, whatever it is, clearly has some subtle scent, when removed out from the cauldron, it becomes completely odorless and near clear, as if it's more potent as long as it's in the actual cauldron. Your testing would echo this as well. If you take it out and put it to strips or tubes to test it, it will actually react differently than if you test it directly from the main batch.
I do believe that there is something to do with this cauldron. It is not giving me normal results. Perhaps we ask Resme to check. And I also found this disc over there. Perhaps would be of interest to her as well.
What are you giving it to me for?
I have to finish my test.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, sure. I'll take it over. Yeah.
They're pretty light. They're only really a few ounces apiece. Although they are about the size of a hand around palm and fingers included. They are quite thin, and they're made of
like ceramic
Yeah, if they are
saucers.
even actual stone, they're a very light stone. Exactly.
Well, I'm gonna be walking over. I'll walk over to the other side. I'm gonna be walking, and I'll be like, well, and clearly he named the axe for apparent reasons it's big and it's also red. I mean,
Seems to
obviously, if I were going to name a shield,
Would you call it shiny round?
I mean, it's not perfectly round though. I mean, it could be like flat, gray, or.
I feel.
I think I'm gonna have to think about this for a while. I don't know. His seems so obvious, and I don't know. I'm having a lot of trouble here. I'll hand a disc over and then continue back over, walking the other way. Very thoughtful.
Just go over, drop off this disc on the table, don't even acknowledge him, and just walk away.
So as Buddy comes back, I look at Buddy. I'm just like, oh, well, I hate to tell you the bad news, but I'm all fresh out of ale at the moment. But all I got left is me wine. But I kind of need that for battle. I mean, unless you really need a drink.
No, I mean, I've seen what that drink does to you, and I don't know if that's wine.
Oh, don't worry. It'll just affect me, not you. Unless you get crazy red wine drunk.
I feel like there's something else in that wine there, and I don't know if I want to be trying it.
My lizard friend, how much longer on that testing of yours?
Perhaps only a couple minutes. Only need to check minor reactions.
You know what? I believe it's time for the story. I just plop my axe down and just kind of pull up a chair. Have a seat.
You do have a literal circle of chairs around this cauldron.
Now is the origin story. Since you probably wondered, hey, why do you have a giant axe? Hey, why do you drink so much? Well, I'm a dwarf. That's kind of obvious, but
Both
hey,
of those things could have been explained by being a dwarf, yeah.
And of course, you know, you're probably wondering why I'm so big and why I can, well, get bigger.
I did actually wonder that. You know, when I looked, I thought it might have just been like a trick of the light. But, you know, and now that I've decided, it's definitely not.
Story time.
Other side of the room.
And it's quiet too. I can't hear
Bummer.
it. I don't want to hear it.
So, when I was a wee little lad, just, you know, before I even grew this beard, I know it's
You're
strange.
not
even
born? I thought, were dwarves not born with beards?
No, not that first. We don't grow our beards until we're 10 years old.
I'll be oddly self-conscious about my beard.
So anyway, my dad was a great weaponsmith, one of the finest in our mountain. And we had some elvish visitors one day, you know, adventurers like us. And he let them he couldn't pay my father for the work traditionally. So he's like, oh, I have this rare elvish wine. And my daddy, he got the sip, and then he just turned it into a monster. And he just started wrecking the place, and then eventually he got a little too violent with my family, and I had to, you know, take out his kneecaps and decapitate him.
That seems appropriately dwarfish.
So what happened then is what happened then is simply after that I went on training as a soldier and then in the Dwarven military, and then I retired from that, especially after our celebratory drinks, and one of my comrades apparently gave me some of his wine, and next thing I know, I just grew into an obnoxious rage. And then when I stepped outside, I apparently grew, well, as big as you saw before. And that is when I learned of my abilities to apparently become a giant.
Are you perhaps allergic to elvish wine?
I wish, but apparently it's
That's what happens when you have an allergy?
it is not an allergy. I can tell you that.
It was meant to be slight humor. He's not serious.
Stung by
But,
a bee, turned into a bee monster.
Yeah.
So I went out and saw a wise fighter, an old retired soldier in the Dwarvish army, known to be a very powerful berserker. And he told me that the source of the wine, after I told him this story, he said the source of my rage was my hate for the elvish red wine that turned my father into a monster, so I portrayed it into my own capabilities. But unlike my father, I have control. And that's why I have a big red axe, because I made it myself.
Well, I'll be.
It is.
Is this? I've only known a couple dwarves. They seemed reasonable folk.
So in other words, like I said, it's just harmless red wine. If you want some, you can. It just go.
Nah, I think I may. I don't want to be allergic to it either. I think I may pass.
Are you telling me that you become massive due to PTSD?
What's PTSD?
I don't know. You're asking the wrong folk here.
Is that some type of disease? I don't know.
It could be part of the allergen.
Your past traumas make you stronger.
Oh, you mean if I black out and go into a blind rage? Yeah, something like that.
Okay. As long as work is not problem for me.
I'm going to be keeping an eye on dwarves nowadays.
I mean, I took 10 years of training to perfect the technique, and I only destroyed one village, maybe two.
Happy slappy girl time.
As long as you have control is not a bad thing. It would be different story if you could not differentiate between friend and foe.
Oh, no worry. If I drink with you, it means I like you. And it also means I don't kill you. And I never drank with any of them hags, didn't I?
No, but your
He
ex
technically hasn't drunken with
certainly
Buddy
did.
yet either.
No, well, we have actually.
They did. They went out on the town.
True, that's true.
All 3 bars.
Yeah, all 3 bars. Went bar hopping.
The
In a
only one I
triangle.
haven't drank with was that little she-elf over there. But she's okay. She keep me alive. I like her so far. She'll have a drink with me sometime.
In my head, I'm going to be like, I'm never going to tell him that she makes wine.
Yeah.
Anything that might make the relationship better.
Yeah. Well, I see Dwarven family dynamics are a little different, but
We're from the south end of the Dwarven dynasty. You know how things are.
I don't know
south.
nothing about the Dwarven dynasties, and I'm hesitant to even ask.
I think there is saying about war drums in the mountains. Perhaps.
I've never heard that saying, and I'm also not gonna ask. Well, guys, let's never talk of this again.
Yet. So I would presume by this time you're done playing chemistry.
Finish up all your testing here. All you can really ascertain is the very, very early stages of something, and that the substance in the cauldron is different than the substance out of the cauldron.
That's primarily what I would be wanting to figure out anyways.
Meanwhile, as you look through these books, other than more information on the worship of this Psychopomp turned Hell Baron, there is a second ritual in this Aslanti book here. Alongside Resurrect, there is another one equally heavily annotated by some hands that seem to have a lot better of a time. Well, they couldn't get the Resurrect to work. Obviously, the hag is still crucified in the entryway. This second one seemed to work near flawlessly. And this is Planar Ally, a ritual that would allow them to summon forth a creature from a different plane of existence here to the material plane.
Oh, and this is how they met our bony friend. They summoned him using this ritual.
Huh. Is there any way in there that they could have sent him back? Well, can
You want to give me some of that there?
religion?
Religion, yeah.
It turns out
That's
that
him in
the
the
only way
corner.
to dismiss it is if the person who cast it is still alive and
Give me that old time religion. It's a 24.
With a 24, as you look through this ritual and kind of whatever it was that it actually showed up there, it's first worth noting that this summon, this calling, it does not in any way bind the creature to you.
I think they left a few steps out here.
It just makes them
Appear.
kind of appear. Also, this is a bit of a divine ritual here. The only way to reach through with this kind of magic to another plane is to reach out to a minion or an acolyte of a deity. and petition that deity to send aid through to the material plane.
So perhaps
If they had their
Mahathala.
own powers to go back, or if the deity decided to rescind them, they could, but there is nothing you can really see about this other than literally pray back to the god, hey, I changed my mind.
So, this thing was ordered here by its master?
I'd say requested, perhaps. If this Coven of Hags was looking for some help, and they were at least familiar enough with Mahathala's, I suppose, organization, to know of some of her lieutenants they could reach out to petition for aid, then they could have requested the presence of our bony friend, who showed up and apparently was not bound in any way by this ritual. It just calls it. So hence they had to, I suppose they were haggling, or they were trying to work out some sort of agreement. And I suppose we happened to show up at the proper time because I guess it hadn't been struck yet, because certainly that devil didn't seem terribly interested in participating in the fight, at least
That-
until you said something to it that really riled it up.
Oh, that would explain why asking it to go home made it really angry.
You basically told it to go to hell.
Oh,
Literally told it to go down.
well, don't I feel impolite?
Thought you were an emissary.
I am an emissary, but
You
they
even
don't.
speak devil tongue. I'm
They-
very disappointed in
They
you.
don't teach demon etiquette in the schools I went to.
The school you learned Infernal in didn't teach you how to properly say hello.
I learned Infernal from a friend who did not give me a ton of background on demons, and he's really cute.
I'm only joking. You're adorable when you're blushing, though.
Oh, thanks. Can we look at these balls? They're very shiny.
I'm not even over there, and I feel like
Also,
The level of cringe
Point-
on the other side of the room.
point of order, I don't know if you remember this, that Rosheen actually has met Tyrannus.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, I wasn't positive if you remember.
No,
that
no,
that
no,
was
no,
the
no.
reference.
She's just she's kind of needling her about it, and she's.
There. So, with these 10 books here, these various tomes are mostly focused on the worship of Mahathala, are old enough and esoteric enough to be of some value. You estimate that if you could find an interested merchant, you could probably get 20 gold pieces for each of the books, each of the first 9 of them. But this 10th one with the pair of rituals, this is a lot older and a lot more substantial. This alone could probably be worth 250 gold to a collector or someone with the coin to pay for it. But it would be about impossible to... Like, these rituals are so detailed that they're a significant portion of this book here. So, obviously, selling the book...
You'd
also
lose the ritual.
Loses the rituals. Yeah, if you wanted to do any Mahathalian planar summoning devil
Does
magic...
this ritual only work with Mahathala, or does it work with any religion?
It does
if
not.
you know?
This 10th book is
So theoretically-
is only tangentially, like, it has a history and an expansion. While it is designed and organized to work towards Mahathala, the magic in this should theoretically work to petition to any deity. But the difficulty is, being a very complex ritual, you can't just call out to any deity. You have to be pretty well devoted, like you are to Milani, or like Buddy is to Iomadai. And you would also need assistance in casting the spell from other equally devout secondary casters. So it could be tough to use, but it absolutely could be adapted to call out to a different deity.
And moreover, like, if we just sold this on the open market, we've basically thrown out this ritual into the world for whoever wants to buy it. Like, I could see that causing problems.
It also
It's like, we have a loaded cannon.
If
Let's
we-
sell it.
If we
money
it
give
also
it,
requires pretty significant offerings in order to appeal to a higher power and to facilitate this spell. It is not something cast lightly. It's very clear about that specifically, regardless of the wealth that you're willing to sacrifice or your own personal piety. Using this without great need is almost certain to just draw the ire of the deity.
I wonder what the hag's great need was.
I wonder why they were so desperate. Although, now that I think about it, they did seem to be very different in the way they went about things. The first two looked different than the third one. I mean, I really don't know that much about hags, but the first two looked really smashy, and the second one looked more like a caster, like did things more like a caster.
At this point, as you're all done with your investigation at the end of the room, I imagine you'd be
Congregating.
reconvening here.
I imagine that that's something more to do with their lineage and not necessarily so much to do with their focusing. The Anis hags tend to be a bit more physically minded than their smaller companions.
Is it normal for different types of hags to form a coven? And pardon my questions, I don't know anything about them.
No, of course. I've gone out of the way to learn as much about it as possible, given my unfortunate involvement in it. But no, it has been known to happen. Not regularly, but certainly often enough. But it's nothing shocking, I suppose I'd say.
Okay. So we have these really shiny ball things that I think will fit in that tree over there.
It does look to be about the right size, but before
I think we may want to go investigate this other room. It's
Yeah.
got a similar kind of structure in it.
And also, I would like you to check out the Cauldron. It is not logical.
Yeah, me and Marshall could go check out that other room if you guys want to go do whatever you
Ooh.
want.
Okay.
More cauldrons. I'll come with you too.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
I have some, she'll pull her alchemy goggles down over her head and kind of adjust them a little.
I do not believe problem is alchemical.
Oh, well. Oh my God.
Alrighty,
It
so
quite literally is not logical. It's different in and out.
as the two of you had to start looking at this cauldron, and Marshall, Buddy, and Rosheen all move to go into this third chamber here. It initially looks, in some ways, similar to the giant smashy tree chamber you'd come through initially, just minus the giant smashy tree. There is a group of 5 fairly narrow beds fitted together into the indents of a 5-pointed silver-painted stone star pillar in the very center of the room. And 5 headboards at each of these beds of a similar, very light, almost silvery wood at the head of each form a pentagon around the star itself. In the middle of this pillar, only being about 3, maybe 3.5 feet tall, you can clearly see another one of these disc-shaped indentations, like what Resme had pointed out on the trunk of the stone tree in the other area. But here, this room appears to have suffered a lot more damage. 3 of the 5 beds are scorched severely, their surface marred and pitted with acid burns. In some cases, fairly large, almost handfuls of the stone, seemingly having been dissolved completely away. In the corner of the room to your left as you enter, the southeast side of this, some simple wood appears to have been set up pretty haphazardly into what looks like a makeshift pen of some kind, about 10 feet across and 12, 15 feet long.
Does it look like it's tall enough to put a flaming smoky
Looks
horse
like it's
in?
exactly the right size to put a flaming smoky horse in.
Nay.
That nightmare could talk. Why did they build a stable for it? He could have just told it not to wander off.
Maybe it wanted privacy.
I suppose it's a horsey thing, perhaps.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never actually talked to a horse before, so I wouldn't really know.
And that horse didn't seem too keen on at least introducing itself or answering questions as to the nature of horsey communications or proper bed, and perhaps horses like stalls.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't know. It seemed a fairly angry horse overall. So, but I don't know.
Do horses like stalls?
They do, yes.
Okay. just for reference.
Yeah, but I don't know. It seemed like a pretty I don't know. It was kind of odd that it could just teleport, though. That seemed like a pretty fancy horse.
Well, it's a little bit outside my area, but I know night hags tend to associate with such creatures, just as ephemeral and dreamlike as the night hags themselves. I didn't realize they could talk, however, and certainly it seeming able to just vanish into thin air was certainly rather interesting.
Yeah, of its own accord, it actually just tugged its right along.
Either of you guys, if you wanted, could make a religion or a nature check about the flaming smoke horse.
Oh,
Ooh,
natural
look at you.
20.
Oh my god.
Baby.
Also a natural 20.
20s.
Wow. That was
I-
way overkill.
Yeah, I was kind of. I would kind of wish I'd saved those. I might need them later.
Wow, I don't think I've ever seen a double 20
I have
critical
lore
success.
farm.
Well, this is legally a horse, so like, I mean, Buford, inexplicably, would actually be very. What's your nature? Are you trained?
I am not trained in nature now.
Okay, you
I have lore farm.
would know. You would
have
know
religion?
what you would logically know
I have
about it by the
religion.
fact that it's a horse.
I do have religion.
But so then you would, I guess.
It's a horse. It's
You,
a horse.
you would, I mean, somehow be very familiar with nightmares.
Yeah.
Equal to Rosheen, actually, almost. Curiosity, did you roll religion or nature?
I wasn't actually. It would have been a religion. Yeah.
What does that give you?
A 33.
Yeah, you're incredibly familiar with these nightmares. You are both apparently like fantastic nightmare experts. You would know that not only are they commonly kept by night hags as their steeds and companions, they are fully sentient. In fact, pretty safely well beyond the general intelligence level of most normal people. They also possess fairly powerful magic of their own that they can kind of ride through planes. Not just ethereally, but even out to further dimensions, just at a pretty standard gallop, and then they can bear a rider with them.
I can't believe we rolled 2 natural 20s for this. Sorry. Go on.
And
I'm grateful for what you're telling me.
you would know that these nightmares, beyond their ability, obviously they have this cloud of smoke around them. But even more than that, a nightmare that gallops, that has room and reason to run freely, and to truly break into a full gallop, its hooves will literally burst into flame, and they can ignite entire settlements simply by tearing through them without even really having to stop to do anything in particular, anything directed. The intensity and the heat from their hooves igniting buildings on either side of the road simply as they run. I don't know how Buddy knows all of this, but
There was a lore story back in my hometown. You know,
there you go.
and, Reshield, they very popular. Nightmares are good for kids.
I'm wrapped, completely wrapped in attention.
I mean, you know all this too because you also rolled a
But
natural
he's-
20.
But I didn't get it through the
Yeah,
lens of the old-timey story, telling me an old horror story that's been passed down to the generations, yet is still 100% accurate.
Yeah, it's just like the stories that scare your kids at night, but it's completely correct. Like every part of it is actually true. So with the cauldron, what are you two doing?
I mean, even though it's not technically alchemy, I still have my alchemy tools out because I don't particularly want to touch it.
My whole like
Oh, your whole lab's out?
Lab.
Okay, then I'm using yours.
Yeah, he's already got all that.
Well, let's take a look at it. I'll turn on detect magic.
So with your casting of detect magic, you would pick up, of course, the cauldron is in fact magical. Not terribly surprising really to anybody. But along with that, each of the 2 discs, the pinkish and the bluish one you've collected, also emanate with a fairly powerful magic.
So, Marshall, how exactly is it that you're able to grow to a size that's the size of an elephant?
Well, I just kind of get that grin on my
And
face, and I look at Buddy, and I'm just like, well.
just take 10 steps back and can't get around anymore.
And then what is your modifier using to try to identify this cauldron magic here?
I guess I'll start with Arcana
All right.
or crafting. I have both.
Well, identify as a magical item.
Then
Arcana.
I'll do Arcana, and I cannot critically fail, so it doesn't.
I guess
really
you
matter.
can just roll it then. If you're literally immune to critically
I
failing,
am
then, yeah,
immune to
you can just
critically
roll it.
failing. I'm gonna give you this.
I basically
I don't like that
give
number.
you the same backstory that I gave Buddy. And,
Yeah.
I like that number much better.
Wrapped with anticipation.
It's
like,
That's
so
gonna
your
be
father
a
had this as
35.
well.
Basically, I'm just the only one that can grow big.
With a 35,
He was just angry.
you would be able to identify that this cauldron is itself a fairly powerful conjurative object that does two things. The first of which is the explanation for Trishik's investigations with his alchemical testing, that this cauldron it doesn't have an intelligence so much as you are able to impress your will upon it, and it, much like a wand, can be used as an extension of your own abilities, but even perfectly mundane ones in this case. Using this to craft pretty much any kind of alchemical item, the cauldron's own native magic is going to make that easier and more effective. But incomplete when removed from the cauldron, it reverts back to its natural state without the magic trying to kind of assist the processes that have been willed to do by the hags.
So you have to finish using the cauldron rather than using alchemy tools.
You use your alchemy tools too, but you use it in the cauldron.
Okay,
You
gotcha.
make the thing with the cauldron. Beyond that, this cauldron, as a secondary ability, with a 35, you're able to identify. You can even further impress your will upon it to draw the magic out directly. And from a completely empty state, with a command, you can cause the cauldron to fill itself with enough delicious vegetable stew to feed 12 medium creatures. Is exactly what the text says, and I feel like that deserves being verbatim.
Explicitly vegetable
Explicitly
stew.
delicious vegetable stew.
You guys are not gonna believe this. Come here.
That function can only be accessed once per day.
Are you ready?
It doesn't look like it was used today.
No, I'm not even saying that stuff out loud. She's just gonna go. Are you ready? Are you ready?
Well, they're in the other room, but you have to
No. I'm calling everyone over.
You have to literally go
Go.
get
I'm
them.
going
Get
to
to
go
let
and
me go,
grab
But you
them.
can go get them.
Oh god.
Sit down.
Oh, okay.
What about all this? The cauldron's already full of that our water, though.
Doesn't matter. I'm getting rid of it.
Okay.
Where are you getting rid of
How
it?
you get? Yeah, where are you getting rid of it exactly? You're in a stone chamber.
How am I gonna get
That
rid
is
of it?
actually
Just pour it all into your bag of holding.
pour it in the stable. Ignore it. Not our problem.
That's actually a great idea.
No, it's a terrible
No,
idea.
once you pour it out, it becomes a mess, and then you can prestidigitate it.
Actually, now
and you just clean
right.
it up.
He's totally right. It's totally what's happening.
Once it's been poured on the floor, it is legally categorized as mess. Now it can be cleaned because that's a thing that prestidigitate can do.
Frickin' magic combo. That's what that is.
I rest. The jury rests. It's now legally cleaned.
Does it look inert?
He'll be able to tell you it is.
There's a whole
completely
bunch
inert.
of
It's
varied-
basically water.
Yeah.
Okay. Then can somebody help me pour this out? Just somewhere.
It's not that.
I
big of a cauldron.
literally just go up to it. Okay, I just kick it over.
It's like 4 feet around or something. But it's only
Nice
maybe
direct.
2-ish high. Like it's 2 bulk total. It's pretty unwieldy, but it's not that big. My buddy kicks it over and spills this all over the corner of this chamber.
Good. That was very helpful, actually. She'll stand it back up. Scrumptious.
Bryn's expression is like, you dare.
And with her command word,
So,
Cannon. That's how you turn it on.
Rocks fall and everyone dies.
the cauldron
Explodes and you die.
starts to emit almost a little bit of warmth, shuddering a bit like a boiling pot, the metal feet clattering against the stone, as
Lean back.
over a few seconds, a delicious aroma emanates out. As you look down, you can see bobbing carrots, bits of potato and celery, and a delicious vegetable stew fills the cauldron.
Make stew.
Is it edible?
Yeah, it's delicious. Here, I'll take some.
It's
first.
delicious. The spell said so.
I just kind of reach in there, grab a potato.
Just a whole potato.
That
in
looks
the
really
stew.
hot.
This is probably pretty hot.
I'm a dwarf. I don't care what heat is.
I'll,
I'm just eating potato with my hand burning. I'm just like, it's pretty hard to me. Oh.
And it would be beyond just like perfectly spiced and incredibly pleasant, and even the smell enticing. The aroma of this magical witch cauldron stew.
I mean, granted, it is also a powerful alchemical tool, but as a side effect, it makes stew. Not really
Smells
sure of the logic behind
Rather
that.
appetizing, actually.
Is
So-
that a side effect? Well,
I don't know. Maybe the person who was making it was really hungry, and just as a side effect, they decided they never wanted to be hungry again, and now stew forever.
Wait, what if we put the pot into the bag of holding, and then we take it and I can get some meat and make a real stew?
the pot is too big to fit in big.
The body's
that's
probably too large for the bag of holding.
Well, I'll just carry it around then. I'll just put it on my side pouch.
Just dragging it.
Well, realistically, I was going to tie it up and put it on my back for
Yeah,
now.
you would largely need to carry it on your back almost like a shield if you were going to haul it around,
Yeah.
just because of the size of the thing.
But don't do it yet, because I'm hungry.
No, for now we eat.
All right, it's not the strangest meal I've ever... No, this is actually the strangest meal I've ever eaten.
Really?
Magical
perhaps we
stew
could,
popping out of a cauldron found in a hag coven's
And there
lair.
are
Yes,
still
it ranks up there.
Two enormous hag corpses, like 5 feet behind you.
Should I
and you
go
don't have
sit
to
on
go
the
around.
thigh of the dead Anna's hag while I eat it just to make it particularly strange?
I just
should
pull out my axe. I'm like, it's still Goblin Village all over again.
Yeah, I mean, perhaps if you want a better meal, you should come with us to castle next time.
Oh yeah, we know some friendly goblins.
Last I was there, I didn't think there was much of a kitchen facility set up.
No, we made the big stew. They have big pot.
Well, maybe I'll come along for it next time.
Yeah, it's all a good time. You know, they're really good at partying up there.
Also not cannibalism.
It would be super cannibalism.
It would totally be cannibalism.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, you
Yeah.
can make that
I mean,
face.
you can
but
make that
it is
face all you
still-
want. It's definitely cannibalism.
Make it less cannibal.
Oh, I thought we were
Getting
gonna...
drunk make it less.
Once we're done eating and we all feel a little bit better,
What do we do with the rest? What do we do with the rest of this?
The magical witch stew?
yeah.
Well, I mean, it's delicious. You said
It
so
is
yourself.
delicious.
Yeah, I mean,
I have
It's a book. Definitely claims that it is delicious.
You
I
said it
have
was
been
enticing.
informed that this is perfectly fine to eat and safe.
It is safe
So-
At
and
least 3 other people had some
100%.
before I did, so.
Yeah, let me check the specifics here and see, because it is a lot of food.
Yeah, if it's like 12 people, I'm not sure. Do we have Tupperware we can save
First
it in?
off, I'm a dwarf. I have like 3 stomachs.
The recommended daily serving means nothing to this man.
I learn more about dwarf biology every time I come here.
I'm really,
Yeah, it does not magically disappear, so... yeah.
I could see me immediately just sitting there, just like, God, come on, we're gonna clean out the pot. just crawl into the cauldron and start eating it from the bottom.
I'm rather full, actually.
I'll give some of
Can
the
we just leave it here and get it on the way back, or next time we're through here? It feels
Just pop my
odd to
hand up.
waste
No,
it.
don't waste a bit.
I give some vegetables to Severin.
The falcon doesn't.
Severin does. Severin likes his veggies.
Okay.
Vegan cats.
It's
So, you spend some time here. I mean, there are 5 of you in 4 chairs, but such is life. A wise man once told me. And some prestidigitation clears up some of the nasty
There's a
tar
bench
water
in the middle
corner.
of the room. Thank
There's
you.
a,
Yeah.
a bench?
That's a
There's
dead
not a
Anna's
bench.
hag.
Yeah.
There are 2 large dead hags, I suppose. But as you eat your way through as much of this pot as you can, more of the morning having passed here, and probably what might be actually now be the strangest circumstances we found ourselves in so far.
I'm gonna refocus while all this is going on.
You know, I have to say this is a very different experience from the last gate.
well,
You mean the one that was full of the scary dragon that was just waiting around the corner?
He's real.
Yeah, what's the deal with that?
He's real.
I believe only 2 of us have seen it, and
But he doesn't lie.
it's true. I don't really lie, but not that I can help it.
it might
I
have
mean,
been
yeah,
real.
a certain case. Well, no, I'm gonna stop this whole right here. I don't really lie, mostly. most of the
You can
time.
believe
just-
that because it's true.
Just filling me with confidence, every word that comes from your mouth.
It depends who I'm lying to, I guess is the word. I don't want. I feel like there's sometimes when it's better to lie, and sometimes I mean.
I've never felt so self-conscious in my life listening to this. I just feel the anxiety bubbling up inside me.
Listen, the day that Buddy lies is the day that I quit drinking. And we all know that ain't
Known
happening.
him for like 2 weeks.
Well, don't.
I know enough.
He seems very trustworthy.
I feel like this is one of those eccentricities of being a married man that we're just not going to understand.
Wait, buddy. Tell him right now that he does not drink.
Why?
It's a lie and then truth at the same time.
Yeah, but that won't make any difference because I mean you've got to know you're lying and like have some whatever it's called, that word of stuff.
Confidence?
The word
Gusto.
of stuff.
Gusto. Gotta have gusto. That's the word I was looking for, and it wasn't really, but I'm sure it'll work.
I don't think gusto makes good lying. You want
It does
to
make
not
good lying.
have any reaction. You want a poker face.
I giggle.
Why do you have so much? Why do you have so much knowledge about this?
Because my profession requires that I lie.
You're an actor?
It could be, depending on situation.
Well, you seem like a real stand-up fellow to me. I don't know what. I mean, I'm sure if the time comes, you may have the situation may have to happen,
politicians,
but
They
I'm
lie all
really
the
well,
time.
yeah. For politicians, that is a whole nother story here. So I can see where you're going there, but
For the
so
most
far,
part, from experience, politicians aren't real people. I can tell you that for sure.
They're just little puppets.
I'm gonna go
They're
see
puppets,
what
but
the-
instead of strings, they just have money.
Oh, the money golem.
I'm gonna go
strikes
see what the
again.
balls do.
The discs.
The
Yeah,
disc.
the discs.
The disc, the balls.
Okay, so with these 2 discs, where are you heading off to?
The tree.
The tree room.
Oh yeah, I guess you didn't see the southern rim. I assumed that they would have probably told you it was similar.
No, no,
Yeah.
no. We're gonna let her figure it out.
She came there and saw it to get us.
Oh, that's true. So she heads off into the tree room with
Should
this
we
weird
let her
little.
wander off by herself?
no, probably not.
And we'll probably all be going with this time.
Just in case.
With full bellies.
You know, just in case. Just in case.
We still haven't completely cleared this area, so.
Sure we have.
Kind of drag everybody over here.
I feel like we kind of have.
Yeah,
I
we
mean,
totally
it seems
have.
like we've gone around the whole thing.
Yeah? We're about to put all this junk up in that trunk.
Did you guys actually go around there or just walk in and look at the beds?
I don't know. We went.
Yeah, we
did
Yeah, we were
some
looking
good-
at them for a while. We poked at the
Okay.
nightmare pen.
I
We,
wasn't sure how
looked at
long
them and
that
was
actually
like, yep, those
was.
are more beds.
So you walk up, and as you reapproach the base of this tree, still with many of its branches, still the weird little broken angles where you'd left them, is mostly Marshall wrenched his way out and broke most of them, but you guys also helped sometimes.
I
am
didn't
not
help.
sorry
I
for
didn't
that.
help literally.
Disable 1 or 2. It now, rather than the kind of majestic, almost drooping branch of this willow, just looks like a busted, scraggly mess, like a dead tree in the middle of a wasteland. But each of these discs both seem to be exactly the same size as the depression in the tree itself.
Rosheen, will you help me? I'm going to try to put one of these in there. Will you
I love that we have not made any attempts to identify the discs yet. We're just sticking them in the tree.
Also,
I don't identify.
This is how we identify the disc.
I actually want it to be a surprise.
That's fair.
Confetti.
Will you you can sense magical auras, can you not?
Oh, yes, indeed.
Would you mind doing that while I do this? I'd like to know a little bit more about it, and I've seen it with my magic sight, but some more information would be highly useful.
I'll see what I can do. I have it written down somewhere else.
why are we messing with these trees? I mean, I feel like they've done a pretty good job sitting there.
Because
Is perhaps the disc could fix whatever night hags
Do we
did.
want? Do we? I don't know. I mean, you can go ahead.
Well,
I
if
don't
you'd
know
like to
enough.
have a little nightmare table in our little passageway through here, it's
seems-
entirely up to you. It adds an interesting bit
I mean,
of
it
ambiance.
seems pretty broken as is, but I mean, it maybe it has some self healing. I mean, that's true. I guess. Yeah. Carry on.
Denamach.
And you
Cast
read
Reora.
on the disc of the tree.
Disc.
The disc gives off a fairly, actually strong, each of them, pink aura of enchantment. The aura seeming identical across the two discs. It seems that whatever magic they bear is basically the same thing, just two flavors of it.
Perhaps you can see if, with this information, you can make something of it? Or
all right,
Are you intent on just plugging it in there and seeing what happens?
Revelare. Detect magic.
And you as well would sense that the tree, the entire tree system with all of the beds, as well as each of the discs, of course, is still magical. That hasn't gone away. And again, the auras over this tree still so powerful and complex that it would be nearly impossible to even identify individual schools. But
Do I think I could dispel what they did?
dispel what they did off of the tree,
Yeah.
that would be difficult. Given the power of the tree and the not your area of expertise-ness of this, that would not be impossible, but would be, I think, very, very challenging.
Okay. Then I guess perhaps putting Desna's magic back in it to use it as it was originally intended will do some of the work for us. All right, everyone stand back, please.
Happily, I'll get out of the room.
Yep.
Right to the entryway, right where I'm comfortable.
How about the rest of you?
Same.
Yeah, I got my axe.
I'm gonna stand next to Resme.
Everyone's in different doorways except Buddy, who's right next to Resme.
I'm glad some of us has
Waiting
learned
for-
from our
There's
experiences.
stuff to happen.
All in all, I had a fairly good time with this room.
I did not.
course you
I
did.
really am not a fan of this room.
I know.
So,
Me either, but
And I'll slot it in there.
which one?
Blue. Sorry, the pinkish one.
Do you want the
Pink.
red
Blue
pill
or
or the
you
blue
pink? You
pill?
said both.
I know I'm doing a Sleeping Beauty thing. He got it. I'll do the blue one.
The blue one.
Yes.
Okay. Make
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, I'm positive.
is that your final answer?
So you reach up and you slot the blue disc into the depression on this tree here, and there's no immediate change of anything. The auras still largely remain the same.
I'm gonna try to lay down on the
But-
bed.
As you move to go lay down on the bed,
On the nightmare table.
on the nightmare table,
She's serious right now.
Yeah.
she reaches for it, Buddy just kind of standing there like, oh, such is life. The tree slowly starts to shift again. The branches
Stay back.
starting to move. But he raises his shield up in front of him, and everyone else watches from the doorways. The Resme gets herself beaten to death. While large portions of the leaves and the smaller peripheral branches have been broken off of this from the battle, most of the main trunks, sans one, are still there. They're still in place. And with that inserted, they slowly, almost creakily, rotate back to be overhanging over each of the beds, leaving one of them exposed, and Marshall had completely broken that entire branch off. Back almost to exactly the position that the tree had been in when you first saw it from outside the room. And then you were gonna lay down on the bed?
Oh boy.
Only one way to figure out what it does.
I'm sure there's other ways. Gets lost in the distance.
So Resme lays down in this bed. Buford kind of watches over here. And he doesn't move. He doesn't react. You lay down in this depression in the stone slab. It's not uncomfortable, but it is kind of just a beveled stone bed. It's not the best thing ever. And you rest your head about against the top of it. Nothing immediately happens. No revelations fill you, nor does the tree immediately start murdering you.
Cast Detect Magic again. See if it is doing anything different than it was before now that it has been activated in some way.
And as you lay here and cast this, you can tell that the auras of the blue disc and the tree itself are now linked. They've connected together. The magic from the blue disc has spread itself throughout the tree and even throughout the various beds. The aura of the tree itself now while still very, almost overwhelmingly powerful, is much simpler, almost more pure, with a very similar pink aura of enchantment radiating out from each of the 5 remaining branches.
Can I try to identify the 2 of them together as a single thing?
Absolutely. And if you can't critically fail, just do it.
I cannot critically fail, but I can roll a 2. We don't want to roll a 2.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Ghost of Azan. Ghost of Azan!
Feed the mimic.
That's a nat 20.
Oh,
Money.
2 to 20. Thank you, Ghost.
easy hero points. So as you detect this here, identify both of these objects here. The disc placed into the tree itself is a Dreamstone. Well, these are very commonly attributed to Desna, and both of these bear some version of Desnan iconography here. This Dreamstone largely does what it says on the box. While it's kind of surprisingly powerful, it is almost simplistic in its purpose. Simply having this on your person will make it easier for you to sleep and make your sleep much more restful. You will never have difficulty getting to sleep, and you will require exponentially less sleep for a full night's rest. Even a couple of hours, you would be more than okay. Beyond that, it gives you some control the other direction towards your sleep as well. Any kind of enchantment or effect, magic that would force you to go to sleep has a much harder time taking hold of you when you have this power of the Dreamstone basically running your sleep as you will it to. And even further than that, the magic inside this can be used to enhance your own. It can be used as a meta magic effect once per day when you cast a spell with the sleep trait, or that is in some way associated with dreams, discretionary. You can use the meta magic as an extra action to not expend the spell.
Wow, okay.
Once per day.
And that's the Dreamstone or the tree?
That's the Dreamstone. The tree itself largely seems to be almost kind of similar to the Dragon Pillars in the Mwangi Expanse. It is a massive conduit.
Okay.
It is taking the enchantment from this Dreamstone and spreading it across what was once 6 and now 5 beds. So not only does it have that protection against anyone who would rest here, it also means anyone who would rest in these beds while the Dreamstone is connected is going to fall asleep near immediately and have a brief but incredibly restful sleep in just a few hours.
As you're casting this, actively falling asleep.
It's only when you want to fall asleep. It does not force you to sleep.
While looking at it, does the other one seem to do something similar, or the aura is different?
The other one that's not connected?
Yeah.
Give me an identify check.
I can't critically fail, so...
I mean, it does seem like it's pretty much exactly the same thing. So, they're almost certainly both Dreamstones. What the differences are between the two of them, you don't currently know, if there even are any. It's entirely possible that there are none. They are just two variants.
Wait. Hey, Rosheen, come here.
Like, into the room.
It's healed now. The tree's not going to hurt you anymore. Its bark was worse than its bite.
It's never hurt me, because I didn't go into the room. But very well. What do you got?
Here. And she'll unslot the one of the Dreamstones from the tree. The one she knows what it does for sure.
The blue one, right? Because the blue one's the one that you had plugged in that you
Yeah.
know where it's
Yeah.
in. The pink one is the question mark.
I think maybe you need this. It will protect your dreams. It will make sure that you'll sleep better at night, and that somebody who tries to interfere with your sleep or try to hurt you in your sleep, they'll have a much, much harder time of it. Keep it on you, please, for me.
It's very kind of you, I suppose. Suppose I'll hold on to this for the meantime.
We have another one. I think it does about the same thing, but I haven't gotten as good of a look at it. Incidentally, this tree is it's like Naptown. We can all lay here and we will get refreshed very, very quickly. So this is pretty much an ideal recovery spot when you think about it.
The tree that just tried to murder us not 20 minutes ago.
You're
Probably like an hour at this point.
Oh, it's in the past then. Let's not worry about it. Let bygones be bygones.
I'm not super a fan of this tree. I'm still actually doomed from it. But, you know, I'm really not a huge fan of... I am, in fact, yes. I'm not a huge fan of this tree. I don't know about...
Resume, if this is something that you'd really like to see and test out, I'll happily do it for you. But at least let's make sure that we do this in shifts to make sure we have people watching over us in case the tree decides to come eat us again.
Sure.
I mean, worst case, I could just hack it down again.
I'll happily nap first.
Wait, are we doing this now? I mean, do we want to do this now?
I'm not saying we have to do it now. I'm just saying when we do it, I will happily be the first to nap.
Resume is very devoted to her research, you see.
I see that. Yeah, I see.
At this
I'll
point,
keep the other one on me.
come back into the room because can I hear what they're talking about?
Not really. You can hear call out to Rosheen just barely. It sounds like the volume of a
She's shaking her
whisper
head a
as
lot
like,
as she talks.
calls out to her 20 feet away.
So what is plan? Is tree good? Is tree bad? What do we do?
It was polluted, but it's been cleansed now. It is what it was always meant to be, a place for dreamers to rest safely and recover. This is a shrine to Desna. It's what it was always meant to be before the hags ruined it.
Perhaps would be good to look for more discs.
I guess we have 2.
Well, kind of looked as much as we can. I mean, they're kind of scared this whole place.
Yeah, most of the rooms, while the walls are very detailed,
Well, not necessarily
iconography,
here.
There's not really like places to hide things.
Look
very
for more
much.
as in general. Because there's multiple slots, right?
There's one slot on this and there's one slot on this other one. Each one has one.
I thought
So there's
this
2
had,
slots for your 2 discs.
I thought this had multiple slots.
There's a slot for each person you want to stick in.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have 1 disc for each slotted sleeping implement.
Well, so what do you guys want to do today? I mean, now that we've got this kind of situation to take care of, we want to kind of go. I mean, we haven't actually gone to the other gate here.
Well, I'd like to take a bit of a rest before we go through there. I'm a bit spent, to be honest with you.
We could nap in the nappy tree.
When you say it
Fine,
like
if you're
that, it
ins-
sounds really bad.
Buddy, it's not going to hurt you. I
Nappy
promise.
tree, I've had many, you know, my son's had a lot of nappies along the way, and they never,
But
never
when
a
you
good
nap
time.
with Bonnie, good things happen.
No, I sleep.
Oh.
That's what naps are.
See, the worst thing that could happen to Buddy when he naps with Bonnie is his children.
Oh. I suppose
Well,
that's
I have
true.
you know my children are the greatest treasure of my life, but, sir.
I guess we're gonna take a nap.
Well, you did only completely destroy 1 branch, which leaves 5
you're gonna take a
functional
nap.
beds.
We're gonna watch you fall asleep for at least a little
you
bit.
take a nap, we're gonna stare at you.
I'm fine with that.
Well, we should take watches anyway, I think. I mean,
It's
just
still
in
I mean,
case
yeah.
the tree starts beating the crap out of
Yeah,
somebody,
yeah,
we're not
yeah,
just
yeah.
all unconscious there.
I mean, I already took my power nap, so I'll be on first watch then.
I'm fairly confident of my assessment of this object, but feel free.
I'll rest with you as well, but probably no more than one other, I would think.
I'll stay awake for now.
I could also stay awake for now.
Very well. I suppose we'll. I love being a guinea pig. It's just a thrill that goes along with it.
Don't worry.
You really are a pessimist.
The tree tries to kill you, he will pull you away. Quite literally.
Probably before it kills you.
I do think it's
hopefully.
really. I do like that you call the one that's going to go sleep the pessimist, as the other 3 are like,
Yeah.
nah.
Well,
I'm just whining, that's all.
as you kind of organize this, and Resme and Rosheen lay down in these stone beds to, well, test out the sleep tree.
Nappy
and
tree.
The nappy tree, and see how good of a rest this can give you. I think that's a solid time for us to take our midstream break.
All right.
So, Chant, those of you here in the stream, thank you all for being here.
Yes.
We're gonna stand up, refill our beverages, use the bathroom, whatever. You should do the same. Don't sit in one place for 4 hours motionless. It's bad, but don't go too far, because when we come back, we continue our adventures. We have removed the Coven. We have found a lot of very interesting and useful things that they had.
And we found a way to waste another 2 hours with very little progress.
Well,
That's not true.
No,
We've
we
been
learned a lot of
learning
stuff.
No, we did
Two
learn a lot of
big
things.
rituals, man.
we've
Those were
done
great.
A lot
You got to
of
learn
things.
origin stories.
We got
We
to
got
know
some
origin stories. We did
origin
role
stories.
play. This was good stuff.
Well, this is a lot of things have happened. It's just not direct linear progress.
Yeah.
We are just no
back.
closer to level 10. That's all.
We'll be right back. But really knows interrupt that particular highlight there, as we are all back, so we can continue playing some Pathfinder stuff.
That's how he gets you. He interrupts one of the highlights that you're really interested in, so you got to go to the YouTube channel to see what happens
Welcome
next.
back, everybody. And as you mentioned it, there is in fact an entire YouTube channel with literally all of these highlights on there that is actually below me as I am saying this. YouTube.com/2perception, as it appears right down there.
It's almost like this is scripted or something.
It has a giant. I wish I could script this freaking thing to show up when I come back from break. I don't have that kind of OBS.
No, I meant what
software
we were
ability.
saying.
Just have one button.
I,
Just be like, spam this.
Surely there's a way I can do it that when I switch to this scene, it's always on that.
You
I'm
would have to make it.
positive.
We
there's a
could
way
just
to do
like
that.
stall and talk a few more times until it actually rolls.
Well, no,
around
you'd have to
again.
make it so
But I
it
mean, like-
restarts the loop when
Yeah,
you
but it's
talk.
literally just pulling images out of a folder. It's not a video that's running down
You
there.
could still make it so it pulls from a specific image when you press the button.
Nerds, you're getting off track.
Either way.
This is a Pathfinder related.
It's Pathfinder time. You can have your
That's
nerd talk
technically
later.
Pathfinder related.
As we
No nerds.
return here, Resme has lain down in the spooky murder tree, which she claims is now no longer a spooky murder tree,
You just hear as her soul leaves her body, sucked by the trees.
to take a very nice nap. I want to show you guys.
The napping tree.
I hope Paizo's okay with this, because I didn't ask, but I'm going to do it anyway. I want to show you guys a piece of art from the very beginning of this chapter here. I'm not sure how well it's going to show up on the screen.
Oh my
But,
god.
That is the-
Ew. Tree tongue.
the stone beds underneath the tree.
Tree powers activate.
Absolutely just
Huh.
swallowing Valeros there.
That is a scene that never played out with our party. Everyone just kind of like was in their own beds fighting their own fights.
It's also a very interesting liberty on the description of how the tree works.
Yeah.
Well, with
Literally
the-
eating you.
Generating a giant mouth
Nom, 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 nom.
and just eating people.
Maybe that's his
Been some
nightmare.
kind of ethereal
being eaten by
tongue
beds.
thing.
Well, imagine you're a piezo artist, right? And someone goes and gives you the concept for this tree, and you're trying to actually paint that, and you're like, so from the outside perspective, they're just laying there with a sad expression on their face. That doesn't make for good art. You have to punch it up.
I figured they just have like the giant branch holding you on there, because that's how it's described to work, is that it's the branches of the tree that slam you into the beds and hold you there. But I guess giant bed licky tongue.
Oh God, why are you so good with that sound?
He's branching out.
Giving flashbacks of Silence of the Lambs here.
It also works very well. Could also possibly have been originally that the trap was designed that the beds themselves grappled you, maybe. I mean, things go through iterations and change.
The mouth comes off the bed just.
Just like,
Nom, 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 nom,
extend no
nom,
mouth.
nom, nom.
Just pulls you back out of the bed. 6 mouths instead of 6 branches. Anyway, you lay down and you lay down. Resme
Yep.
and Rosheen. And as you do, concerns Rosheen may have notwithstanding, the two of you, as you decide to go to sleep, would fall asleep almost immediately. Within a minute. Even given the situation, and again, the relative, not spectacular comfort of the stone beds themselves, immediately asleep.
I find this really suspicious.
I'm gonna just kind of walk over and check both of them, just looking them
Sure
over, make
there's
sure
no
they're still
duress.
breathing and stuff.
Yeah.
They're like not heart palpitations or anything.
No. They both, while they seem to be unconscious, they both...
Why?
I do believe I understand why she lives outside of town now.
You would not notice anything out of the ordinary about them. They would both be near motionless, but breathing normally, hearts beating normally, just slower, asleep.
I think she might have fixed the tree.
I don't trust it at all.
I do not either, but let's give it a couple minutes and see what happens.
I dig into my bag and I pull out one of the potatoes from the stew, and I'm just.
You really went deep in the stew, did you?
Not a problem.
Not at all.
Potato.
I'm full for now. Thank you, though.
Potato.
Severin curls up
No
next to
one
me and
else?
falls asleep.
Oh.
No one else suspicious of this tree. I really don't like this tree.
I'm suspicious of it. I'm just letting it do its thing for now.
What if it's slowly eating their insides and we just can't tell?
Well, if it is, then they will be dead in a moment. And we will know.
Resme, wake up!
And you would be able to shake her awake as easily as anything else. Like, it's not going to keep her asleep through Buford panicking.
What? What?
You're fine.
Yeah, I was having a really nice dream.
Now you get to
Okay.
have another one.
That sounded so ominous.
I just
But it
okay.
was,
Well, you're
worried.
just making sure your insides weren't getting eaten or nothing.
No,
or your
no,
soul
no.
wasn't
I'm
getting
grumpy
sucked
now.
out
You
or-
woke me up. I go back to sleep.
Perhaps she
Okay.
was having dream
In
of that
an instant,
Tyrannus
closes her
man.
eyes and is unconscious again.
God, that's so weird.
Snuggles up to Severin.
Who would also immediately fall asleep if he so chose in the bed.
The bird just plop.
Conks out.
Eh.
Caw!
Well, I guess we'll let them sleep. How long do you think it takes?
They will likely wake up when they are done.
What are we gonna do until then?
Stick around. Perhaps go back to Breach Hill. We have all day.
No.
Those are opposite
until,
things.
Until then, until they wake back up again.
Well,
You have any? I don't know. What do you do to occupy your time?
well, if I'm not eating, drinking, or sleeping, I don't know.
We
I
don't
might go
have-
into town and get me into a good old-fashioned rumble.
Okay, say we don't have anyone around here to get into an good old-fashioned rumble. What else would you do?
Well, we could always explore what else is around here.
We've already done that.
It would
though.
not be bad to just walk around, perhaps find another little disc.
Well, I've already looked around here, though.
What if we find a magical keg that makes beer?
We have now literally moved every rock and looked under every corner.
I mean, we kind of have. There weren't any rocks to look under.
You know what I mean? His expression.
Oh. Well,
If you'd
all
like,
right.
we could flip coin.
I was really hoping you guys had some kind of cool games,
Well-
but I guess not.
I'll actually pull a coin out of my pocket, just a weird looking silver coin, not like currency coin.
All right,
If
and
you-
not currency coin. All right. Are we gonna be gambling here?
No, if you like, we play game. You guess heads, you guess tails.
That sounds like really.
I flip coin, I catch coin, slap coin on the arm. You tell me what you think. We see.
Sounds like a really weird game, but all right, let's do it. I'm down for new cultural experiences, and if it's a cool game, it sounds pretty boring, but let's do it anyways.
All right. So, what do you call?
I think you're gonna drop it on the ground.
What what do you call coin? Heads or
Well,
tails?
heads, for
All
sure.
right. So, and it's gonna show as tails.
That was clearly
No. When I move my hand, the coin shows as tails.
Ah, I see. Okay.
Make-
like I'll
make
just.
me
It's
deeper.
not deception.
Oh, okay.
When I move my hand, it's tails. I just hand straight up off it. It's a tails.
You had a 50% chance to make
50-50.
that explanation work really well, and it just didn't go in
I
your
know,
favor.
it's terrible.
Well, is it at the end of the game?
No, just wait till past time. You can continue guessing.
Ah, Tyrannus.
I feel like we should move a little bit away from her bed.
Yeah, perhaps.
Maybe we can get some muffled sound effect going in between her and there.
So, the group of you pass the time flipping coins, maybe peeking around the rooms, doing whatever.
How many times would you let me do this before you got tired of it?
Probably as many. Like, I mean, I'm sitting here doing nothing, so if you really want to do it, we'll be playing
Actually,
Coiny
toss.
flippy.
Yeah.
Well, you'd start to feel a little weird because you'd be wrong every single time.
All right. Well, that would be pretty interesting. Yeah, I would keep going. Once I figured out that it was like a thing, I would see how long you could hold it for.
did you take the cauldron with you by chance, or is it still in
It's
the other
still
room?
sitting there. We haven't moved it yet.
I'm gonna go
Still
back
got
to
a
the
lot of
cauldron.
vegetables still. Yeah, just eating.
I'm gonna try to remember how she magically made stew so I could do it on the will. Because I want more potatoes.
And stew pot. And
What did she say?
Scrumptious.
Scrumptious.
What was the word?
I'll just go up to the pot and be like,
We
okay,
do.
let's see if I can get me a beef stew. Oh, that would be great. Okay. What was that funny word that the house made? Screwpicks. Scrunkichi. Pulls out his horn. Ah, I remember. Scrumptious.
Nothing happens. Still sitting there with.
I just keep going.
Third of a pot of vegetables.
It's like
still
must have
still.
pronounced it wrong.
I keep trying to think of ways to get it to work while that's happening, and they're doing.
Sleepy things.
See, I
Coin-
would be
coin
enjoying
flippy
it
flip.
because your enthusiasm, your constant drive to see at
I
what
would
point you'll
get
be
more
right.
enthusiastic at the beginning. Not sold.
This is stupid, but
At the beginning, super not sold, and now I'm like
'Cause
really
I'm
invested.
not doing anything. I'm flipping the coin,
Yeah.
I'm catching the coin, and it's just you're wrong every
Yeah.
single time.
Yeah. Okay.
Statistically
I like it.
impossible.
I like it.
Improbable.
Talk math, buddy. Don't you use words like statistics to this man? But after about 2 hours from when they first laid down, probably outside getting relatively close to noon, still fairly early in the morning, Rosheen would kind of naturally start to awaken. And you would feel as if you had slept an entire night. You would feel, like, even though you'd only been awake for 3 hours when you just laid down and went to sleep, you'd feel like you'd had a day, had a great night's rest. You don't have a nap hangover at all. You feel absolutely refreshed, like it's a brand new morning.
Wow. It's remarkable.
And assumedly at some point during that, I could get a lay on hands or something just for the little bit that
You
I'm
get
still
2
missing.
hours. Yeah,
we got plenty of time.
So
You deal with that.
I'll just put myself back to full.
I feel remarkable. What a spectacular rest I've had. There's no one around.
Well, it'd
Resume.
still probably be in the room somewhere.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we
Flipping coin
walked
in the
far
corner
enough
there,
away
yeah.
we couldn't hear you mumbling in
Resume's
your
still
sleep.
asleep.
Yeah, we didn't want to hear any of that.
Well,
You
now
look
that-
over, you look at one corner, they don't notice immediately because there's no sound. You look over the corner and you see Trishik just flipping a coin and Buddy looking really invested in flipping a coin.
The best watch keepers I've ever seen in my life.
You see Resume curled up, cuddling a falcon,
Oh, she's adorable.
Marshall's nowhere.
Let's go up and I'll go join the game. Rosheen will just walk over to you too. Oh, thank you for keeping such a careful watch over us.
You're awake. No. Wait. Watch this. Heads. It's gonna be his. I swear to God. It's gonna be his this time.
Perhaps, what, the 72nd time?
At least, yeah.
In 2 hours.
Yeah.
Hundreds.
So I'll move my hand away and it'll be tails again.
Like,
I like how every time you
yeah,
try
I
to
know.
do it, it's
I'm
wrong.
really good at this.
So Rosheen just kind of looking in. And so what?
Nah.
He's not gotten it right a single time.
What, the coin flip?
Every time. Every time, I say.
It's important to stay awake when on guard. There's not much going on. We busy ourselves doing this.
I suppose it's better than finding us sleeping in the other benches, I suppose. All right,
How was your sleep, by the way?
Spectacular. I feel wonderful. Do I have my spells back, actually?
You need to spend an hour to re-prepare them, but you could. Yeah, you absolutely could re-prepare your spells.
This is amazing. It's the best sleep of my life I've ever had. Like, seriously, it's like the first night in years I haven't had dreams of fire and slaughter in my head. It's been spectacular, let me tell you.
Perhaps
That was a
room
bit
is-
overfamiliar and oversharing. I'm terribly sorry about that.
Yes.
Had a bit rough, I see.
And
It's
around now,
from gold.
Resme would start waking up as well.
Oh, look,
Sav.
she's coming around. She's coming around.
Sev. And she'll pull some meat out and he'll go, now we're talking. Now we're talking. This is a nest. My tree. No. This is my tree now. You can all go find your own tree.
I don't forgot that he had spoke.
That's normal, is it? I'm not still sleeping, is it?
More recently than not, yeah.
Normal is a broad word.
Yeah. I'm glad I'm glad you got a good sleep. Don't talk about it too much. I'd rather not know. On the other hand,
Tyrannis.
She'll go so red. She'll blend in with her dress.
I'll be like, I'm not listening.
And
We had to walk all the way to over here so we would not hear you with the puppy dog eyes.
No, I ain't listening.
Resume looks so grumpy. Severin's like, I was dreaming of Esphis.
Well,
He was my best friend. Aside from Resume, I miss him lots.
such is the way of things, I guess.
Are
feel
you
like I've
going to be
stumped-
my friend now? Do we have meat?
Well, we have a great deal of vegetable stew in the other room. But aside from that, I suppose I have something dried.
If you give it to me, I'll be your friend.
Suppose it's something to... Investing in friendship is something worthwhile. Yes, I'll go along with it. My goodness gracious.
He'll come jump on your shoulder.
May have made a mistake.
Well, I guess you guys gonna have to get ready and stuff. I guess I'll go wrangle up Marshall and try and get these. It'll take you guys a while, though.
Well, it's a bit to putting things together, but honestly, if you wanted to spend the hour the best way you possibly could, resting in one of these benches isn't a bad way to pass the time, I have to say.
I'll pass.
Faith level 0.
I'm glad he had a good time, though, and
Perception.
I guess-
All 20s.
We'll spend some time re-preparing.
And actually, Rosheen looks significant, like she's still looked haggard from the fight. Completely normal after she slept.
See, now you won't make fun of the disc and you'll keep it with you.
100%.
So as Buddy eventually goes
yeah,
to
gonna
retrieve
get
me,
you, yeah.
you just see me super frustrated and like sweaty a little bit and just like screaming at the cauldron. I'm just like, I'm like shaking it. I'm like, give me the food, you stupid. Oh, hello.
You wouldn't be able to hear them coming at all. Like,
I just look and I'm like, I see Buddy. I'm like, oh, hello.
there's vegetables all over the ground.
Well, looks like you're having a good time.
Potato.
No, it seems like you've got a good handle on all of them potatoes around here. Did you drink any more of that wine?
I haven't seen any more hags, so not yet. I just get really hungry.
But you've eaten about half a horse by this point.
Well, you see, when I go giant and I do it for a really long time, it burns a lot of my personal energy. So I get really, really hungry. Especially after that fight. You saw me pass out.
Yeah, well, I mean, the rest of the party's starting to wake up now, so we should be moving along. You're almost filled up.
I just start scooping potatoes and carrots into my bag.
Cooked potatoes and carrots.
I'm a dwarf. The 5-minute rule.
So,
5-minute rule.
It's been like 2 hours.
Resume,
They're long minutes.
Dwarven minutes.
dwarven sundials are just massive.
Which is funny because they live underground.
Exactly.
You still got the sundial.
That's why
Hasn't
5
moved
minutes
yet.
is
We
2
still got more
hours.
time.
It's just blank. The whole sundial just has 5 o'clock right in the middle.
It's 5 o'clock
It's always
everywhere.
time for a drink.
This is why they're alcoholics.
I like how all of us proceeded to pick up our
Yep.
drinks and take
You
a sip.
incepted us.
Yep.
You're welcome.
You know what they call that? Operant conditioning. I didn't do it. I just took advantage of it.
Yeah.
Society did it for me. But Resme and Rosheen, they need an hour or so to ready your magics in lieu of your rest. The rest of you all feeling pretty well up to par now between Buddy's lay on hands and the million tiny potions that Resme has. With your alchemical tools in here, you'd also be able to prep your daily little potions as well.
Okay.
Studying together, it's just literally like it's a brand new day.
You have a whole
this is
lab and an
incredible.
alchemical pot. So
Wow. All right, I love this. This tree is the best. Oh, hello, Harold's table.
Harold's table, come in with a raid welcome. We've just gotten a fantastic rest at the magical tree of good dreams
Death
and
and
happiness.
destruction.
Good dreams and
Death
happiness.
and destruction.
Welcome
Formerly
in.
known as the Tree of Death and
Yeah.
Destruction.
We were just getting ready to get back underway here. And after you are all prepared, you have your things ready, and who's carrying the pot? Are you carrying the pot? There's 2 bulk. I don't know what your strength looks like.
I got plenty.
Little dex boy. Okay.
I was about to say
I would like to point out I have 14 strength.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Big ol' meaty chat over here.
Bulked up rogue. Look
at
at him
this.
go.
It's got hands.
It's actually
Lizard brain, please.
Yes.
But
my carry capacity is actually really nice.
okay, what were you saying, Bryn?
well, it's really funny that I've got like a ton of strength, but I'm also carrying such heavy stuff that like I have no extra.
See, that's the advantage. I'm carrying.
Super full plated 2 shields and 6 hammers. I'm like,
See, between the almost no gear and the bag of holding,
I am literally, I think I'm like 1 light bulk away from being over-encumbered.
That's money.
I measured that out and I'm like, okay, I guess I can't take this money with me.
somebody puts a potato in your pocket.
Yeah. That's basically how it is right
That's the
now.
limit.
Yep. I'm gonna have to,
So I guess we're ready to go through the gate now.
sure am. Let's, I guess we,
Right, let's see where this turns us, and hopefully it takes us someplace actually useful.
So this stone gateway on the eastern end of this way station, again, blackened with soot, much like Hunter's Gate had been when you first found it, as if a similar fire had erupted out from this. But still set in its stone. Again, you didn't notice any errors or any problems with the setup like Hunter's Gate had. It seems to be perfectly operational. All it's left to do is to poke it.
Touch the key.
And as you connect Eclipse to this new waygate, it explodes and everyone dies immediately. No,
So you really wanted to play that new adventure path,
I
huh?
don't even know what it is yet. It's only 45 minutes. But when you'd come in here, the cold metal touches to the stone, and immediately, like the surface of water, it ripples throughout to the edges of the archway. The stone itself being replaced with this swirling, gray, impermeable mist. Just a frame of almost a light cloud with yet more question marks on the other side of it. But it opens up perfectly fine.
All right. In we go.
Shield up.
I get back behind the 2 of you, and we go on through.
here we go.
As you make your way out through the back of this mist, you would step forth into a cavern. Not particularly large, but seemingly natural. Just a stony cave, around 30 feet or so across in most directions, about twice as wide as the gateway itself as you come through. Much like the far end of Hunter's Gate, Dreamgate itself appears to just be freestanding near the back of this cavern. This marble archway, still this strange effervescent mist filling the middle. As you step out, the cave is not dark. In fact, it doesn't even appear to be particularly deep. It's maybe 40, 45 feet in front of you. You can clearly see the exit in the bright sunshine of the, well, not even the afternoon yet, just about the noon, coming down, and you can't see a horizon. You can hear, even through the outside of the cavern, the sound of birds singing, gulls calling, and crashing surf.
The coast.
Is that the ocean? I haven't been to the ocean since I was a little girl.
I ain't never been to the ocean. This should be pretty cool. I guess we keep moving out.
Before
sense.
we go, should we put the key in the bag of holding?
Yes.
For
Well,
safekeeping.
first I'll close the gate once we're all out.
You can actually close the gate. It just kind of closes after a few minutes.
And then I'll put the key away.
So stashing all of that, you make your way out to the mouth of this cave and emerge onto a very bright and sunny cliffside. Now, you're on a landing about halfway up an ocean-facing cliff. And out before you, all you can see is the sparkling blue of the ocean. As the waves crash against the rocks about 40 or so feet below you, the top of the bluff up above is about 50 feet higher. Above you is a fairly sheer rock face, but it does not seem like it would be a terribly difficult ordeal to work your way down the much more slanted and if gravelly lower half of this down to the base of the cliff itself.
What is it? What do we see down there?
Looking down, I mean, everything before you is ocean. And looking out to your left is more ocean.
But I mean, like,
But-
down the cliff face.
Like directly
you-
below
You
us.
see there's like down some way above, it kind of bevels out, almost curved. So you'd be climbing down pretty much to a stony beach that looks to be kind of abandoned. You don't really see anything there. It's just like it's just a regular rocky beach. Waves hitting and rolling up through it. But it'd be level enough for you to stand on some decent distance away from the surf. Surf's not pounding a hard wall or anything.
And what's above us?
Above you is a pretty solid rock cliff face. Like the slope of the cliff.
No, like tree
Kind of
overhanging
arcs up.
over the top or anything?
You can see that there are certainly at the top of this appears to be some grasses and shrubs, but there's no large
it's not, like,
overhanging
desolate
visible
up there.
trees. It doesn't appear to be desert at all. It looks like it is there's vegetation of some kind. Looking out to your right as you emerge, you can actually see the land curves away much further into view. And you can see a kind of sparsely forested grassland rolling out before you as far as you can see off in the distance. And with your vantage point about 30, 40 feet up, that's a pretty decent distance. About a half mile away down that coastline is a relatively small little village with a little simple dock jutting out into the water. Smoke rising from several buildings.
Oh, looks like a good place to find out where we are. Can we reach it easier from the beach below?
Yeah, you
or
go
can
down
we,
and you just go straight along
well,
the coast.
if we were on the cliff, would it be easier to get there?
It doesn't really look like it'd be meaningfully different. It's down at sea level, so this cliff kind of works its way down over about a quarter of a mile that direction anyway. So you'd be climbing up just to kind of make it. It doesn't look like it'd be harder either way.
Okay.
But does anyone want to make me a perception check?
Sure.
Sure.
Yeah, literally everyone can do this because we're all out here looking around.
Yeah.
34.
17.
25.
28.
Oh,
I guess you don't have to roll it if you don't want to.
I just figured. 22.
So, all of you, minus whoever said 17 over here.
That was me.
Minus Rosheen, as you're looking, you see the smoke rising from assumedly a couple of chimneys. Looks like a quaint, small, little fishing hamlet, perhaps. The rest of you would notice that the smoke curling up does not actually appear to be coming out of any chimneys or ovens, but from smoldering buildings.
Oh.
Decent portions of the city appear to be aflame. And those of you that got above 25, which might have literally been all of you. Okay, whoever got... No, definitely you two got above a 25.
I got a 25.
Okay, so all three of you then would also notice that there's a ship moored at the town's docks, which doesn't seem out of the ordinary at all normally. But the ship does seem pretty massively oversized compared to the size of the town.
I do believe that the town is under attack. It would be in best interest to go help and perhaps get a lay of land.
You can make that out from here.
He's the lizard man. I mean, he's got probably has really good vision.
I mean, even I can see that.
It does appear to be a burning town in big boat, small town. Doesn't make sense.
Makes sense to me. Well, I suppose we should hurry on over there then, before they destroy all evidence. We have no idea where we are.
Would we like
Also,
to go up
saving
or-
the town would be a good idea, I think.
Yeah. Would we like to go up or down?
It'd be easier for me to go down. You know, I've got gravity and whatnot. Is this cave easily seen? Like, are we gonna lose it forever?
Knowing
we
where
walk
it
out of
is,
it.
it doesn't seem. And they never found their way back.
Oh no, where is it?
It is pretty hidden. It's far enough away as the coast, even though it kind of lazily curves out into view. Without knowing where it was, it would be almost impossible to just happen upon. There's
Okay.
no obvious path or anything
But
to
since
it.
we've
But
been there,
but yeah,
okay,
knowing
okay.
where you are and knowing vaguely where it is relative to that town, this cliffside.
I can literally climb up and down the cliff until I find it.
It would certainly not. Yeah, you got climbing lizard man. It would certainly be no real challenge to find it again later.
Just making sure. I don't want to be stuck here forever.
You don't even know where here is.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly why I don't want to be stuck here forever.
I'm actually going to send Severin on ahead to scout since he and I can share a sense.
Okay. So, as Severin flies out towards the town, the rest of you have to either make your way up or down to continue.
I suppose down works.
down.
If down's down, we can get there easier going down. That's fine.
Now, while it's not massively difficult, if you are not particularly physically inclined, i.e. not even trained in athletics, it might be kind of a hard time.
Perhaps if anyone has rope and python, I can give us a safe way down.
I'm fine.
I just stroll down the mountain.
Wand of
Yeah,
Dimension
like
Door.
I have a 19, but okay.
Maybe an athletics check.
19 and 17.
Yeah,
That's a
you absolutely can just walk down it like it's nothing. Like it doesn't
I'm
even
like
require you to use
whistling.
your hands or
Ah, da, da, da.
climb. Yeah, it's easy. With your wand and a quick incantation, you just teleport
Omnibus
down to
Modem.
the base of this. And I mean, I'm pretty sure all the rest of you are at least experts in athletics.
I am only trained.
Do you want to roll me yours as well?
That's
That is the most cocked D20 I have ever seen.
That actually is the most cocked D20 I've ever
I
seen.
mean, if you're not confident, I can literally
So
tie a
that's
rope.
a 19. I think
19
it's
plus
fine.
15 is
You two are
a
at least
lot.
experts.
I can just walk.
Oh yeah, you Calypso.
I have a
you
climb
no
speed.
problem. So you're all able to make your way down to the base of this without any proper difficulty. It takes you a little bit, other than, I mean, obviously, both of you
I don't
two
wanna
could just
break an
straight
ankle.
up walk down there like nothing, but you're covered in full plate and don't want to turn into a bowling ball rolling into the ocean. So
Ditto.
Yeah.
I'll hold your hand on the way down, make sure you don't fall.
by the
I need my
time
hand for balance.
by the time the group of you are reconvened down at the base of this, just a few feet away from the surf rolling up the stony beach, Severin would be making his way over towards the town. And as he flies over, you can see a few things. You can see that there are buildings of flame and smoldering. As he flies over, you see a massive blast of fire on one side consume another building. There are not a ton of bodies throughout the streets. It doesn't appear to be a massive murder spree that's going on here, though admittedly there are certainly some. The ship docked in the town's really tiny quay, really just an individual pier sticking out as massive, with a full complement of crew on the decks, seemingly watching in, joking, just looking as the town burns. And notably, you see a group of really well-armed and armored men and women dragging a different pair of men in chains, manacles clamped around their hands and feet, toward the center of town.
It seems like pirates, maybe? Somebody's taken somebody prisoner, and most of the town is on fire. We should really hurry.
Of course, sounds like a slaver raid.
Is what I was thinking.
I'm gonna cast Longstrider on our dwarf friend over here, since he is Not very quick.
We did realize he does actually have the same speed as everybody else.
Oh, he does? Okay.
Because I did not realize that I knew that having the strength score for armor removed the armor check penalty. It also reduces the speed penalty. So his speed penalty is 0 from his armor. So,
and you're not wearing...
He's wearing medium.
He's wearing medium. Ah,
Yeah.
So,
that explains it. Okay.
So he actually is 25 just like everyone else. It's actually Buddy that's slower than everybody.
No, I'm 25 now too because I took fleet.
So,
so-
Rosheen's actually the slowest because she only moves 20 because she has her full plate.
Well, then
So
you'll get long
Rosheen's the
strider.
slow tank.
I can go quicker, but only in short bursts. So.
I cannot. I go exactly my speed, and then I
Because
stand there.
Rosheen's an oracle, which means she has to be complicated. So.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Longstrider and Rosheen then?
Yeah.
And the group, you start to make your way out towards the town. Now, as you're moving towards town, what are you doing? And I will point out now there is another exploration activity that I don't believe has literally come up in 9 levels yet, and that is hustling, which only really matters if everybody does it. But that lets you basically double move, and you can do it for 10 minutes times your con modifier without having to start making checks against fatigue. Now, that town's only about a half mile away. So does anybody have less than 14 con? So,
But she's also an elf.
But I also have, I can chug a cheetah's elixir and turn on my bracelets of dashing, and I can get there way sooner than them and be invisible, so I can wait for them without anyone seeing me.
Bracelets of Dash only lasts a
Dash is
minute.
gonna last like 1 minute.
That's
That's not gonna
true.
make a difference in the amount of time to get over there. I mean, it'll help a little bit, but
It is
Cheetah's
plus
elixir
10.
will help.
Cheater Elixir is 10 minutes. Cheater Elixir, what does that do?
It gives me plus 10 feet movement speed.
Okay, so with that, it wouldn't be quite as fast as hustling, but if everyone's hustling and you use that, if you want, that'd be the fastest way to get there. But no one is seeking or raising your shield or anything. You're focusing on moving quickly.
That's fine.
So what do you guys want? I'm just saying that's an option. What do you guys want to do?
And that seems like the most realistic option.
Well-
While we're on the way over, we can discuss what to
Well, I
do.
mean, it's not like the boat's going to be moving anywhere all that fast because they would have to get all those people on the boat. I don't know about walking in there just blindsiding them. It might be better to go in with a plan a bit. Running in with swords blazing might be.
Well, we have plenty of time to make a plan on the way over.
Are you suggesting that the pirates are going to be able to... I don't think... The pirates strike quickly, I would think. Then again, I didn't get a good look at the place. Did it look like they were in a rush?
Well, I wasn't looking, but I mean, if they've got the whole town burned down and everybody in chains, they have no rush to go anywhere, do they?
I suppose it makes sense.
Perhaps
It doesn't
would
sit
give
right
enough-
with me to just take a leisurely stroll while a town burns.
It won't help if we get killed on the first thing when we get over there before we can help anyone, though.
Well, perhaps we could sabotage boat a little bit. Make it so that they cannot leave.
We'd have to get there first, wouldn't we?
Yes, but if we have planned now, we know what to do later.
Well, I mean,
half mile. It's not that far.
Yeah, we can plan while we're on.
Yeah, I mean, as you guys are going,
Yeah.
talking.
We're at least
and-
walking and heading there right,
Right.
now.
Okay.
If we, if we want to, I ain't saying that I'm totally against hustling. I'm just saying that I doubt they're undefended. They probably have some.
Oh, I'm sure I'm sure they're defended. But then again, perhaps not so much. If they haven't, if this town offered no resistance, they might have. I doubt they've set out pickets.
They probably aren't expecting anybody either. We could probably sneak up on them if we wanted to.
I don't think. I'm not very good at sneaking. They
Yeah,
might have
I
heard
mean,
me clinking as
Some
I
of
walked.
us are much better at sneaking than others.
I can help you with that.
If you would like, I could go underwater and get the boat that way. They would not find me.
I could make them invisible.
If you can get a hold of the rudder and cut the steering line to it, they'd only be going nowhere except in circles.
That's the plan.
Okay.
Pretty good plan to me. That's fine. Even if we, I feel like that'd be a great idea.
We can approach under stealth while you sabotage the boat.
I mean, we wouldn't even have to be in stealth. We'd be a great cover for him.
That's true.
Oh, that's an even
We'd be drawing a
better.
great deal of
We do
attention.
not. We do not all need to be sneaking. I simply need distraction long enough to get the boat.
I mean, the
Did you say
town already-
distraction?
Exactly.
And
I think you have plenty of people
is on
eager
fire.
and willing to provide such a distraction.
All right, sounds like a plan. Are we, are we hustling or not?
Yes.
I think we'll hustle
yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
We'll hustle till we get at least close enough that I feel I could
Stealth away.
get to the boat underwater.
So as you drink a cheetah's elixir, since you are not, I mean, you can hustle. You can still hustle. You'll just need to make a Constitution check, a Fortitude save.
I would prefer not to hustle if
Okay.
I can, even
so
if
what
it
are
means
you
falling.
what
a
are
little-
you doing then? Because you can then be seeking or something.
I'm
'cause
gonna be-
Everyone's still
I-
gonna be going a little faster and comfortable, so they're still. Like,
I'm gonna be
jogging, hustling.
seeking through Severin.
Okay. So as the group you move, breaking into a bit of a faster jog as you drink this potion to keep up with everybody. You rush towards this small village. Its peril becoming more and more apparent as you get closer. As some of the flames, the burning buildings start to catch more. Flames licking against the sky, visible from hundreds of yards away. As the smoke starts to billow and expand, thicker, darker columns rolling up from different places. The ship does not appear to move at all as you approach. But as you get near the outskirts of the town, the quay with the ship is near the center, a little past it away, so about 100 yards or so through the town itself. Are you breaking off immediately, or are you moving through some of the town until
No.
you get near it?
No. Once we get to about that point where we're coming up on the outskirts of town, I'm going to dash out across the surface of the water and then dive under. Literally across the surface, 75 feet
So as
out.
he starts to run out, maybe a perception check with 7. As this is well before you start, as you're approaching the edge of this.
It's a 24.
24, as you see down, not too far from where you're approaching the town, you see a man who looks fairly well built, but older, a little past middle age, with a completely shaved head, no beard or anything, getting hauled out of a building, the door broken inward by a pair of these men.
Scurvy knaves.
A woman and a male dwarf hauling him out while the dwarf claps manacles on his legs as they drag him. There's 2 more of them behind him, so there's 4 of them there total, as well as a fairly massive gray-furred boar, which is held almost on like an iron chain leash by one of the men standing a little bit further back, while he's pulling and sniffing and snorting at it towards the man as they haul him out of the house. This is maybe 100 feet from you or so, not too far, like just inside the hamlet.
Looks like we have somebody taking a man prisoner with a pet boar to intimidate people, or I have no
Boars are
idea.
quite dangerous.
But
This will make really good bacon.
let's go
That's
jump
true.
them and see if we can't free him. It's as good a place to start as any.
It's fine by me, I suppose.
I feel like we may want to slow down.
Yeah, we'll slow down a bit.
All right, so as you ready yourselves, what are y'all doing?
I'm going to cast heroism on myself.
Okay.
I'm gonna switch to stealthing.
Okay.
Giving yourself a little pep talk on like how to be a hero. You're like, come
Wow. Yeah.
I'm just gonna.
It's
have,
funnier that way than just saying Krogak
Gonna
and
have
getting
axe
it.
out at the ready and just keep my eyes peeled.
All right.
I've got my shield out.
Shield up, and Trishik,
I'm in the water.
are you still forking off to the water?
Mm-hmm.
Because this is a little more like in. This isn't going to be anywhere near.
Okay, this is before we're like near
This
the
is like
boat.
she calls out like as you're going. No, the boat's a little ways like it's on the
Okay.
other side of Hamlet basically. It's not like you're not
Yeah, you got
walking
it,
out
got
to
it.
the boat.
Oh, so you could come with us on this one and then peel off later when we're because the boat's on the other side of the hamlet. Unless
Okay.
you wanted to just try to like run
Well,
around the
if I-
entire hamlet.
No, if I see that this is coming up, I'd be stealthing, so probably like up against the building.
Alrighty. So the group you come around this first building, and by the time you actually get there, around to a well near the outside of town, in the middle of a couple of various homes here. None of these aflame, none of these terribly damaged. Some smashed doors and windows, a cart with a wheel bashed off of it not too far down this simple cobbled street in front of you. You would see that they have got him fully bound and put up almost with like a
little bit of juggernaut.
A big leather mask and muzzle over the front of his face is attached to the manacles that he has in front of him as he is shuffling, just being dragged along by one of the men. And the dwarf has
the man
taken...
has the mask and muscle?
Yeah, the guy they
Okay.
captured
Okay.
has the muzzle on. As the dwarf now leads the boar. As you come around here into view, with Resme hiding, so I'll put you over here, and Trishik, you sneaking as well.
Yeah.
The 2 of you in cover around this building. As they see the 3 large folk of the party in big ol' armor and with a big ol' axe come into view. The dwarf turns immediately, and the big hog kind of snorts and spreads, taking a bit of a stance. A dwarf gestures at you with a big, two-headed flail. Each end just a ball of iron spikes. Ah! You best drop your arms and surrender. They'll have to kill you, but we will.
I'm so glad we're on the same page here.
And he just kind of motions back to the man and woman behind him that aren't leading the guy. Take them!
Oh, adorable. Some playthings.
They're coming to us. How considerate.
Shall we?
And they draw out a rapier. They each draw out rapiers and come to approach you.
Bastard sword shield.
And I think around at that point's probably where we roll initiative.
Woo! Woo! Hey, that's pretty decent.
Not too bad.
Would you say where I'm standing is considered greater cover?
For what purpose?
Stealth?
You don't get that. You're not getting that to initiative for initiative.
No,
You
but
get
for
that-
hiding.
Yeah, but you're rolling initiative.
Yeah, no, I already have my initiative for
Okay.
hiding purposes.
Yeah, I mean you're completely out of view, so I mean, you wouldn't be rolling stealth like they can't see you. You're like not in line of sight. You're farther. And I can switch you and Resume if you want. I just kind of put you there. If you want to be.
I
closer
would
to the corner.
realistically be in the front, probably.
That's kind of what I thought. So I'll move you two around, and then give you
Unless Resume wants to stand there.
an angry dwarf man.
No.
Angry dwarf man.
Let me give you a
So-
trio.
None of the people on the map are the prisoners.
The prisoner is the guy in the back.
Okay, this is the guy right here.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't actually have a token for the guy in the back, so if you want to just put this little area that we've been using for Marshall, I can go ahead and go there.
Works for me.
And here is a pigu.
Pickums.
Biggie.
That's a big old
Large
Pickums.
piggy.
His name is Bacon.
And Edawir
Very large.
Very short.
for the resub. So,
Very shortly, it will be bacon.
yeah, Resume. We got for initiative.
30.
30?
Not bad.
How about you, Rosheen?
Rosheen has 29. Upstaged again.
And Marshall?
26.
It's
Yeah.
so far away from me now.
25.
25. Just counting. We're counting with the two perception crew.
29,
Who
so...
wants to go first between you and Rosheen?
Trushi can go first.
Okay.
Alrighty, and then I'm gonna roll Dwarf. Dwarf is kind of just ordering everyone around. He's not particularly interested in rushing forward immediately. He's chilling.
He's very not interested.
I'm gonna give Pigu. Getting a 28. So he's like right in the middle here. And then I'm gonna roll the three little boys together, so I don't have 29,000 initiative tokens. Because they're already moving forward and pretty ready. They're going to be right up here. And it becomes pretty evident that you guys are not interested in immediately coming with them. That's relatively clear to everybody that you were going to stand and fight, but they are completely okay with that. So, this one here can, in 2 moves, rush up to Buddy, the closest, rapier in hand, and lash out with a quick, almost running thrust. You're fleet-footed. And it's going to be for a 24.
And I'm braced. He's obviously running straight for me, and I can just plant and kind of brace into it.
As that clanks off, the second one behind. I'm gonna come in with him.
He sees this man completely failing. He's like, I can do it.
What they need is 2 people fighting Buddy
Yeah.
together. It's gonna be a 30 on your flat-footed.
And that exactly hits
On your flat-footed?
on my flat-footed because I have my
Holy crap.
shield raised.
Damn.
We have reached high-level Pathfinder.
And he just hooks it under my shield and just manages to scrape it across.
And that is gonna catch you for 18 points of piercing damage. The third, still holding on to the prisoner, is going to turn around and yell something back at him. You see him turn and yell back and motion with his hand, and the prisoner kind of gets down on his knees. He'll turn back around and draw a dagger in his other hand and just kind of wait. Resume.
Resume will come out. Actually, Resume's gonna hold.
Okay. That's Rosheen then.
Would I have been able to get eyes on the dwarf before the combat started?
From the corner, you can see. You can see everyone. You could definitely have a mark for death before it starts here.
Doesn't do anything for now, but just potentially for later. So, I'm going to raise up my bow, peek around the corner, and unleash an arrow at the unsuspecting dwarf.
All right. He too is flat-footed.
For a, I'm gonna re-roll that. That's a 3. Let's try that again. To a 4.
Slightly better.
Slightly
That
better.
is better. That's a 23 against his
23 will
flat-footed.
exactly hit his flat-footed.
It made a
Nice.
difference.
Exactly on his flat-footed. That arrow will just barely catch him as he doesn't know you're there and he's not paying attention.
Remember,
And this-
kids, that 1 point matters.
Yeah.
does.
This old dwarf here, he's got some pretty good chainmail on, but that's just going to kind of catch him right in the side, hitting hard enough just to pierce through that.
And he's gonna take 17 damage and is now bleeding.
Okay.
And then I will scamper up to the top of this building.
Alrighty.
How tall is it?
It's probably only about 10 feet tall. It's just a standard little home.
Okay. And then from there, I will shoot one of the guys directly in front of me here. I'll shoot the closest of the two.
Second to see if I can put you up here in a way that's... There we go.
Is that the dice case that we use?
Yeah.
You do that by just doing this. And I'll just put you up there. You can definitely get out there one move.
Yeah. And I'll shoot the closest guy directly down here below me.
Okay.
For a 22. So just kind of hastily turning around and plinking the ground.
Now these ones up front with the rapiers are not nearly as armor, but the leather armor is going to do enough to glance that arrow to the side.
Pretty hasty shot.
And before we go to Rosheen here, a hero point. Ooh, Kados is super ready, literally falling out of his mouth. A hero point for Marshall, just in case he needs that extra point for some heavy axing from Smootsy9.
And
Much appreciated. I
And
will
before
definitely take that.
Rosheen goes, I'm actually going to step in now that he's out of my way and I can actually see something without hitting him.
Okie doke.
That's the plan. Get out of the way.
Sources like
Dwarf is bleeding. I don't know if I said that.
You did. I have it.
Okay.
And Inferno. And she'll throw her one action produce flame at the
I thought you were about to say fireball.
no at the guy closest to Buddy,
Okay.
and he will be flat-footed to me because I do have surprise attack and I rolled stealth for initiative.
You didn't
You
beat
get to
him.
beat him though, so he's not
No.
flat-footed.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, that'd be good.
So that's gonna be a 31.
31 will hit him. He makes that noise. Blah.
It's fine, right?
Yeah,
Five,
fire.
yeah. D4s, right?
No, D6s.
Produce flame C4s.
You're right. I'm dumb. That'll be 13 points of fire damage, and he is on fire.
That's on
you
a
have to
crit.
Critically hit him.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
right.
2 actions left.
With my second action, she'll temporis, and she'll try to slow the one she didn't hit.
Okay.
So he needs to make me a will.
Fortitude
Fortitude
save.
save.
Physically,
That's it. I
physically
never-
slows him.
I never remember that.
We'll get there eventually.
He's going to get a 22 on that save.
He's going to fail. And he's going to be slowed 1 for a minute.
Okie dokie. So as he starts to slow down, he's the one who successfully hit Buddy, and as he pulls that rapier back,
Physically starts to move a little slower. Rosheen.
Oh no.
They made it stick and buddy for longer. It's probably not great from his angle.
So Rosheen this is perfect. There's no like grand horrendous thing happening yet. We'll see what happens when that boar gets over here. But she'll just raise her shield, step up right next to Buddy, and bring her sword down in a slash at that rogue right in front. So that's gonna be a 24.
As you swing down at him as he starts to slow, even starting to slow, he pivots reactively to try to dodge a bit out of the way, and that swing is gonna miss.
Okay, that's my 3 actions.
And Pigu, his screen's so far away. Pigu is you're gonna have to bear with me a little bit because this is one of those. All of these are Age of Ashes specific, of course, 2 of them are NPCs, and then Super Pig. They're in 3 different places in the book, so
We have those cute little like tab
I do
things.
have it marked, but I still have to flip around a lot. Pigu, let me get another thing to mark this other one too. I'll just fill this with blinded cards. Is going to rush forward as the dwarf lets go of his chain, and he is just going to stampede up to this corner, up past where the guys are attacking, and he is a pretty well-trained Pigu. As he runs in,
He's about to be some well-trained bacon.
he's going to
here in a
come around the
second.
corner and focus in on the same target that these the man and the woman are already attacking, which is Buddy. As he comes actually squealing in here, swinging up with his tusks for a 32.
And that'll hit.
This pig, you can see as it comes forth, he loses the chain, it rattling behind him across the cobblestone as the pig runs. His tusk has been fitted with a spiked cap on one end and several almost like bangles with bits of needles and sharp metal sticking out in random directions on random areas. Its eyes
Lovely.
blood red as it rushes forth. And it's going to smash you for 14 points of piercing damage.
Okay.
And as it connects, colliding with your lines here, it is going to let forth like a hair-raising squeal as it connects. And I
Okay.
need everybody to make me a will save,
A will save. Oh boy.
including these 2 idiots.
Oh, I got a natural 20, so
25.
Okay.
I guess I'll give you a session to go for that.
34.
I don't know what evil Pigu is going to do to me.
he's gonna squeal.
So wheelie.
But slightly better.
Oink.
Remember, slightly better has already mattered once this fight.
That's true. 26.
Okay.
24.
34.
Natural 20.
So the 24, only Resume around the corner seeing this
Oh,
thing.
actually, 16 plus 9 is 25.
Never mind, nothing happens. Okay.
Wow. Who knew?
Man, that 1 point.
So,
That salt look.
but as he squeals out, the one guy who dodged back from Rosheen, who seemed to be a little slowing down, is a little unsettled by even those pigs on his team here. What is this kind of a horrifying noise it lets out? Alright, Marshall.
Oh, the piggy wants to play.
He's gonna pick him up and take it back.
Maybe. Chugging my wine.
You're about to go ham.
Where's your character?
Within reach.
I drink my wine, go into rage, then I Hulk out and get huge.
Oh,
Cause why not?
because why not?
Because
large.
why not?
What?
Do you want to be right up on him, or do you want to be back? Because you got reach, but I mean, you were like right in the middle.
I'm gonna
here,
be right
so-
on that pig.
Yeah, okay, right up to the pig.
I just Hulk. I just tower over this pig and they're like, here, piggy, piggy.
Smack.
Maybe not so much on that one. I'm good.
Yeah, you know you want to do it.
I really want to do it.
Smash the pig. We want bacon.
Oh,
kidding
same
me?
thing.
I got the same
The
exact
cursed
roll.
die.
All right. I mean, it's a 21.
21 as you slam down. You're just barely gonna graze this pig. Almost, but not a solid enough hit to do any damage to him.
He's got very coarse pig hairs.
Buddy.
So I'm gonna, as the pig runs by, and it kind of, it gives me a good solid boot, I would say. As it does that, I'm gonna try and grab the chain and try and hook it around one of the front legs. This is after I drop my hammer, because hammers were never useful in the first place. And I'm going to wrap it around that leg and try and yank it out and just try and get it to trip.
Trip a pig.
What is up with all these threes, guys?
I rolled 3 twice in a row.
I know. Okay, I'm gonna use.
Stop being bad.
Okay, come
Suck
on.
less.
This time for real. Oh, much better.
That is much better.
Okay, so that is a 37.
37 will critically succeed, knocking the pig to the ground and dealing a d6 of bludgeoning damage.
Nice.
There's no room to tilt him.
Wrinkle up the pigget.
Oink.
And then
Oh no, I mean oink.
and then as I have this pig held, I'm grasping this chain, and I'm actually just with my other leg, with my left leg, I'm just gonna boot this guy next to me as hard as I can, trying to shove him back.
The guy right in front of you or the slowed guy?
The one right in front of me.
Okay.
Which is only a, it's -5. So that's actually just a 19.
19's still gonna push him back.
Oh, wow.
Oh, nice.
So the ones that charge you with the rapiers do not seem very physically formidable. They're much more like dancing fencers, and as he gets catch a boot, he scoots back 5 feet. You want to follow him?
No.
Okay.
That seems.
Yeah.
Would
a
you like to
poor
flank
decision.
yourself?
And then as I see that, and he actually just like is a flimsy guy, I'm gonna look at the other one and bring that leg, that shoved him, bring it down and bring the other leg and try and shove the next guy.
You're just stomping on the road.
and kicking people. This is great.
Okay, so then
You might have actually got
With
yeah,
a minus
it's
10?
With a -10, that's a 24.
Yep, that pushes him.
That's hilarious.
You boot one, you boot the other.
They're chess pieces.
The enemy comes up. Where's the line? No, you're not.
You kick him back. This dwarf, kind of casually, not moving particularly quickly,
Well, he's a dwarf.
saunters a bit forward, reaching up to his back with his free hand, I guess it's his free hand, and unsheathing a javelin, and calls out, "That there beast's pretty well trained. He'd come back if I caught him," and just looses the javelin out towards Rosheen, who's got a perfectly clear shot now between his two allies. Yeah, one more page. All 3 of these stat blocks are on different pages. We're at 23.
At 23, Rosheen's just going to casually flick her shield and knock the javelin aside.
As he looses it, it kind of bounces off. He just puts his hand up, the other with the flail. Oh, you want me to call him? Trust me. Drop your weapons. Last chance. And
You have to do something scary before you intimidate someone. That's how it works. Oh,
The,
battle cry!
I'm scary.
Speaking of doing scary things,
I could do.
I don't actually think that they were within 30 feet of you.
Them actually may not have moved.
Oh, okay. I don't feel so bad now.
Because he was like here.
Yeah.
The one who got shunted up is going to step forward to Buddy, drawing a dagger in his offhand as he thrusts out with the rapier once more towards you for a natural 1. So that's not. Oh, also,
And it's a tiny dagger.
no, but the rapier he's thrusting.
Oh,
He's grabbed-
I
he's
thought
not
you
the cover,
grabbed the
but trying to
dagger.
drag it.
Okay.
Doink.
Yeah. Still, just the armor. Like
Clatter.
people are not used to like solid tin cans walking up to them.
The other one, as he steps forward almost around the well, so it's a little harder for you guys to get a direct positioning on her. Slowly moves, feinting one side with the rapier before twisting from the other towards Rosheen, for a 34.
34, actually, it's going to slip her defense. She overcorrects to the feint side.
You're going to take 7 points of piercing damage from still a bit of a glancing hit here, and the dwarf was bleeding from you.
Yes. 1.
And Jultas will shock, and the same wound will open up on the rogue, and he has 2d6 persistent bleed now.
Way more bleeding than the dwarf, who is not bleeding anymore. I'll still keep the card here for the other guy. in the back. The other one seems more intent on keeping the prisoner in line, but still is waiting at a decent distance here.
Rogue takes 11 bleed damage at the end of his turn.
Oh yeah, it's his turn right now, so he's immediately going to take that. And that is going to continue. Trishik. I feel like I'm sweating. What's nice? Do it.
I'm going to step up to the edge, look down at the very loud noise of the pig getting knocked over, and look over at the dwarf. You call him back. See if it works when he's bled out. And I'm going to unleash 3 arrows down into the flat-footed pig.
How's it flat-footed?
Because it's prone.
Oh, it is prone. That's true. I actually forgot I was on the ground.
So
It's just a sideways pin cushion.
yep, that's a 29.
Boy, that'll hit him.
That is a 25.
25 will hit him.
And that is a natural 1 on the third attack. I'll just take
You get him
that.
with 2 arrows.
So, first one. 5, 22 with d6 bleed.
Okay. Pig is now also bleeding.
So,
It was already bleeding. Oh, now he's bleeding.
and then 16
All right.
on the second, and that is it. Just plink, plink,
Solid
plink.
salvo of arrows, landing 2 of these, thudding solidly into the side of the boar here. You can see blood starting to seep out, but the boar just seems more angry than anything. Resme.
Resme, seeing that things have become a little close in for her taste, will cast out, and a small little kind of shock will go through the guy in front of her, and she will try to trip him telekinetically and put him down in front of Buddy.
Okay.
So that's going to be a 29.
29 will trip him.
The rogues came up expecting a fight, and instead they're the ones who ended up
Gets
flat-footed.
bullied.
And then she'll shield up.
Alrighty. That'll bring us to Rosheen.
Well, I just had a rogue get knocked down right in front of me. It doesn't get much better than that.
Obviously, I'm gonna bully
Engraved
the rogue.
I'm gonna totally
invitation.
bully that rogue. First, though, she'll shield up, and then she'll swing down with her sword. So first attack is going to be a 27.
27 is absolutely gonna hit him where he's prone.
Right. So that's 11 plus 4, 15. And he's got persistent bleed. I think he was the only one who wasn't. Second attack on that same guy is only a 2 on the die. I doubt that's going to do anything. Yeah, it's not even over. Yeah, it's like a 16.
Yeah, no.
Okay. And that's a... so he's got persistent bleed now as well, D6.
Everyone's
It's the
bleeding
bleed
everywhere.
party.
Sorry, I've got... between the two of us.
I'm just gonna hold on to this, and it's your job to remember who's bleeding at the end of the turns.
The
Okay.
hemophiliacs.
And we're done. See you guys next week. No.
Are we not?
Yeah,
We
but
are very soon, though, so give me
Yeah.
damage.
I did.
Oh, what'd you say?
14.
I was very distracted
15.
by the...
Oh, yeah. It was 15 slashing.
Oh, my mistake. Alright, and he's also bleeding. Alrighty, and then Pig here is gonna, stand back up because it's very upset about being on its side.
Link.
Oh,
While
no, you
injured,
don't. God damn it.
while injured, only appears to be so injured, and is just going to lash out towards this ginormous man swinging an axe next to him because that's spooky. Swinging tusks up towards you for a 31,
That hits.
and then slapping his head the other way toward. Oh,
And it's gonna worry that it's this axe is very large, and it's gonna question its decision whether it's gonna split its head open by hitting him, and just question it momentarily.
the pig only knows hate, so
It's okay.
In the grim darkness.
We thought it was just, just operating out of love for its master, but no, it's just an evil pig.
it's the angriest pig ever. And it's gonna go ahead and take the enfeebled and the reduced damage there. And Marshall, you are going to take 17 points of piercing damage minus whatever.
Minus 10 from me.
So
Oh, so
7
I-
points of piercing damage.
So 7.
Yeah, 7.
Okay.
You have your 10 HP too, so it's
actually
not even-
soaks it all.
It doesn't even take
yeah, it's not
all
even
of it.
actually
It only
reduce
takes
your
like a
health.
chunk.
And then it's going to lash its head towards Buford with a natural 20, actually. So it's going to be a 32. Which,
And I do not have my shield up, and
30.
so
because it's enfeebled. You don't have your shield up.
I don't have my shield up, so it just barely hits again.
I was like, if that's not a success on a natural 20, it still only is a regular.
Yeah.
hit. But seemingly just furious from you detracting from its desire to murder things.
Yep.
And NPC Monk, thank you for that subscription there. 9, 15, 30 points of piercing damage as it lashes up at you.
And it also has a small headache now from
Yeah, that's why it's 30 because it's enfeebled.
Oh, no, it has a small headache from being smited by Iomedae
Good.
So it takes
herself.
one
Iomedae
precision
herself.
damage, and also it's bleeding.
Yes.
Yeah, Iomedae
Roll
herself
that
was
too.
like, tonk.
Still headache, still bleeding.
1.
One.
One.
It has one persistent damage from good and one persistent damage from bleed. Magical.
Lots of work.
Lots
And-
of bookkeeping for 2 points.
Yeah.
Marshall.
Yes.
Hit it very hard. We have to end this rapidly.
Hit it hard. Hit it very hard.
Kill it to death.
Reet.
Ah, the thing is up. Hit it very hard. Is that a 1?
That
No.
looks like a
No, no, no.
a 20 to me.
That is going to be a 27.
27. Absolutely hits it. It's still it's pretty hurt.
Get my D12s. That's going to be 10 plus 16, 26.
Wow. That was, I knew it was barbarian, but that was way big actually. Okay. It's been slapped.
Gonna try and smack it again.
Slap it again. It probably couldn't take another one of those, honestly. It's surprisingly not that tanky.
24?
24 will hit it again.
Ooh.
Doesn't have a lot of AC.
Bye, pig.
It's a pig.
Nice. That's a lot.
36.
36.
His name is Bacon.
Dropping this big axe.
Rit.
Absolutely gonna cleave this pig.
Is this pig down?
That pig is absolutely down.
For my final action, I'm just gonna do my intimidation thing.
And as you yell that out, the two of the rogues here, clearly aware that this is that you are not just going to be collected like everyone else in this town seems to have so far, immediately attempt to take the opportunity to turn to run. The dwarf leading them, less thrilled about that idea, but after seeing you guys obliterate the pig in literally actually 12 seconds, he's realizing this is not the time. So, calling the retreat as well. The group turns around to maybe reorganize.
Go home,
Figure out
rethink
what
their
they
life.
can do, and to go watch the Lost Omens reveal stream stuff that's happening over on the PAX channel, because I also want to go see this.
We're gonna go PAX our
I have
bags.
to go see what the new adventure path is. So don't go anywhere,
Because
friends.
we're gonna raid.
I had to stay on until they were actually live because I can't raid them if they're not live. So I had to wait until Peyton was in here to tell me the thing was up. But it is up now. So I am going to send all of you over to the PAX stream. You don't have to go anywhere. You will be taken directly there by staying in this seat on this channel right here to go see a whole bunch of Lost Omens, cool announcements. Thank y'all for being here. Thank you for supporting our shows. Go learn a bunch of cool stuff. And we will see you next week, everyone. Good night.